Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this afternoon's edition of the O'Reilly Auto Parts 150 for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series live commentary stream. They are racing at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car course here today as we are set for the second and final road course race of the Truck Series season and the third to last race of the regular season. We have a lot of points implications on the line and playoff implications on the line for drivers to qualify that haven't already. And we have drivers, of course, that are locked in virtue of wins. We'll go through the point standings as we're just getting underway today. But before that, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as we start our first of two live commentary streams today. The NASCAR Xfinity Series will be racing at the Atlanta Superspeedway later tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And, of course, this Truck Series race right here, right now. Coming into the points day, Corey Heim is currently your leader in the standings. He also qualified on the pole for today's race. He has a 16-point cushion over Zane Smith, who has dropped to the rear of the field for the start of the race after a transmission failure yesterday in qualifying. So polar opposites of where those two drivers will start. We'll see if they meet each other by the end of the race. Christian Eckes is going to be third in points coming into this race. He's 70 back, so it's pretty much, actually these points are not in order. I keep forgetting NASCAR's website does that. Grant Enfinger is third in points. He's 31 points out of first. Ty Majeski, highest in the point standings without a win. He's 86 points above the cutoff line, so pretty comfortable there. And he is 44 points out of first. Ben Rhodes, fifth in points, is 47 points out of first. Those are all the drivers within one race worth of points for the regular season championship. Once again, 15 playoff points are awarded to the regular season champion after the next three races. Of course, you have today's race, and then we have at Pocono in 2 weeks for the Truck Series, and at the end of July at Richmond will be the regular season finale for the Truck Series field. The drivers who are locked into the playoffs with a win, I mentioned some of those names already. Corey Heim has a win, currently is the points leader as well. Zane Smith and Grant Enfinger each have 2 wins on the year. Carson Hocevar and Christian Eckes both have 2 wins on the season as well. Ben Rhodes has 1 win this year that has locked him into the playoffs. He's the only driver in the point stages for the Truck Series to have a win at Dorf Sport Racing this season. Mentioned Majeski's 86 points above the cutoff line, but it gets very tight behind him. 8th in the standings as Matt DiBenedetto comes into the race on 4 straight top 10 finishes. He's 14 points above the cutoff line, currently sitting. Matt Crafton's 9th in points overall. He's the second to last driver above the cutoff line, plus 10. And Nick Sanchez, the rookie in the number 2 car for Tricon Garage, is 6 points above the cutoff line coming into the race today. And it's going to be very interesting to say the least if he can hang on to that final spot. Stuart Friesen going to be starting deep in the field today after crashing in qualifying yesterday. He is the first driver below the cutoff line. He is minus 6 points behind Sanchez. Tanner Gray is also 6 points to the negative coming into this race. So very tight there. Only 20 points separate 8th through 12th in the standings. Remember, the top 10 make the playoffs for the Truck Series field. If you win, you are in. Tyler Ankrum, who won the ARCA race yesterday at Mid-Ohio, is 15th in points coming into the day, is then more than likely a must-win situation as he's 72 points out of first, more than 1 race worth of points. Jake Garcia has kind of slipped back over recent races. He's also over 1 race worth of points out. Roger Cruth, who has had speed on some intermediate tracks, must-win situation. Haley Deegan, who had a top 10 at Mid-Ohio last year in a must-win situation, minus 130 points out of first. Taylor Gray, Colby Howard, Daniel Dye also with those drivers. Chase Purdy may not be in a must-win situation yet, but he is getting very close to that because we, again, only have 3 races left for the regular season. He's 39 points out of 10th place on Nick Sanchez coming into the day. So it is possible that we could end up seeing a KBM Chevrolet potentially miss the playoff field this season. I think Rafael Lessard missed the playoffs in that 4-truck a couple seasons ago despite having to win at Talladega in the playoffs. He didn't qualify for it when the postseason began. Thanks for coming into the stream to Patrick Shadley, Joanne Cryer, Terry Lewis, Jeffrey Giordano, Cars One Boy, Jeff UR7, Mike George, and others. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for holding out the slight rain delay as we started the stream just over a half hour late, but about to get this one underway here shortly. Again, the running of the O'Reilly Auto Parts 150 today. Scheduled distance will be 67 laps. That equates to 151 miles in total distance around this just shy of a 2-mile road course just north of Columbus, Ohio. Corey Heim comes into the race. He'll be starting on the pole. We'll go through the rest of the starting lineup to follow. Heim is the points leader again coming into the day, looking to grow and feed off of that. Ty Majeski, who is sitting comfortably above the cutoff line of points, will start to the outside of the front row in second. Nick Sanchez and Christian Eckes in row 2. Sanchez, great qualifying effort, needed it. Again, only 6 points to the good above the cutoff line, and Eckes looking for his third win of the season. Grant Enfinger also looking for his third win of the year. He'll be on the inside of row 3 with Tanner Gray to his outside. Gray minus 6 points on Sanchez coming in, so both those guys going to be looking for stage points early. Marco Andretti making his first career Truck Series start here today in the 7 truck for Spire Motorsports. And William Sawalich making another start this season in the 1 team for Tricon Garage. He made a start earlier this year, had a top 10 in his first career event. 16-year-old going for his first road course race today. He finished second in Orca yesterday evening. Jack Wood and Zane Smith will be in row 5. We mentioned Zane Smith will be starting deep in the field. Wood ran the ARCA race and had a top 5 yesterday as well. Carson Hocevar and Ben Rhodes will be in row number 6. Hocevar, the most recent winner in the Truck Series schedule, winning 2 weeks ago at Nashville. And on top of that, Ben Rhodes looking for his second win of the year. His only win came at Charlotte. Tyler Ankrum and Matt DiBenedetto will be in row 7. Ankrum was the winner in the ARCA race yesterday, looking to double down with a win in the truck race today. And Matt DiBenedetto, 8th in the points standings, and is 14 points above the cutoff line coming into the race. He's still going to need a solid points day with a couple drivers behind him in the standings starting in the top 10. Taylor Gray and Will Rogers will be in row number 8 for this race. Gray did win at Mid-Ohio last season in the ARCA race. That started in the rain, ended in the dry. We could see a lot of that today with the race starting in the rain. It'll be interesting if it will dry up before the end of this roughly hour and a half to 2 hour race. Starting behind those guys will be Daniel Dye and Connor Daly in row 9. Daly, of course, coming from IndyCar, ran the Indy race back last week at Mid-Ohio. He is in the Nice Motorsport 41 entry. Raja Kruth and Dean Thompson will be in row number 5 in this one. Row number 10 rather in this one. Thompson ran the ARCA race yesterday, ended up getting into a wreck late, unfortunately, with a teammate on the final lap while running in the second place position. Lawless Allen and Landon Lewis will be in row 11 behind them. Rookie Jake Garcia with Chase Purdy to his outside. Purdy, a lot of ground to make up here in today's race if he's going to want to help his playoff deficit coming into this one. A couple of the ThorSport entries out of Sandusky, Ohio, just north of where this racetrack takes place. Matt Kraft and Haley Deegan will be in that row in row 13. Austin Wayne Self and Dale Quarterly in row 14. Quarterly, of course, ran in the ARCA race earlier today. This will be his second truck start of the year. Also ran at COTA in the first Truck Series road course race of the season. Ryan Vargas and Matt Mills will be in row 15. Connor Jones will be in the 5th ThorSport entry this week with Brett Holmes to his outside. Row 17 will be Timmy Hill and Spencer Boyd. Stuart Friesen and Colby Howard in row 18, rounding out the field. And again, Friesen below the cutoff line on points coming into the race today, -6, and did not get a qualifying lap in yesterday after crashing early. So unfortunately, actually that crash is in practice, and he could not run a qualifying lap yesterday, as well as Colby Howard. So that is why they are starting deep in the field again. Zane Smith will be dropping to the back after qualifying 10th because of having a transmission issue in the second round of qualifying yesterday afternoon. Trucks are on the racetrack right now. To listen into more of the pre-race coverage, here is the race coverage that is on Fox Sports 1.
No experience in these conditions. He does have some road course experience. He got his best road course finish earlier this season at Circuit of the Americas, where it was 6th, but it was dry. His rain experience came at Martinsville. He won that one, but very different conditions, as we already see the number 30 spin around. So he said there's a lot of unknown here. He gets to lead the field, but he doesn't know what to do with it quite yet. Amanda?
Jamie, Tyler Ankrum is hoping that the rain can be the great equalizer today. In that single file start, he will be the 13th truck, but he's coming high off of his win yesterday in ARCA. It was just his second start in the series, and he's been very vocal about how he's been using seat time over there to apply to this truck. But he said to get started and to make sure that he can find his way to the top, he needs a win if he's going to compete in this playoff. He said he has to go hard and go early. Oh, and the name of the dog? Ruger.
Guys, Ruger, that's all I wanted to know, Amanda. What was the name of the dog in Victory Lane yesterday? Well, good luck to Tyler Ankrum. I have no doubt he'll put on a show with all that confidence that he has.
Well, we have a couple onboards bringing you the action from different places within the truck.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. Connor Daly, he was just on this racetrack 6 days ago in an Indy car. He's going to make his third career truck start, and we're going to have a great view of his footwork. I love that. Look, you can see the moisture, the dampness inside the truck. You don't want that to get on the pedals and your feet slip off the pedals, but going to be great. This is a Unisipper Chevy. He qualified 18th, but he's going to start from the rear. It's going to be fun to watch.
Well, qualifying 17th, Daniel Dye, our NASCAR on Fox in-race reporter, and he's got some cool views. We're going to see his feet as well, Phil. This is a Race to Stop Suicide onboard camera, but we're also going to be on his bumper, so we're going to be able to see real clearly how much challenge this rain will make for the drivers and their vision. You talked about slipping and sliding and how important keeping your truck under control is, but being able to see where you're going, that's where it all starts. We'll see how challenging it is for these drivers.
Daniel Dye. We always put him to work in every race,
Yeah.
Michael, no matter what, and now we get to see some different angles too, so that'll be fun throughout the race.
Yeah, I talked about his foot cam, and we saw Connor Daly's. Connor is a road racer. That's his background. That's what he does. And so it'll be interesting to see how his feet, how he works his feet, is different than Daniel Dye's. But we saw from the Chicago street race, both the Xfinity and the Cup guys really working those pedals, and what a challenge it is to do your feet, drive the truck with your hands as well, everything that goes into being successful on a road course.
I thought we all did pretty similar footwork till I saw that Chicago street race. There you have him right there. That's Daniel Dye on the right-hand side. I love the little strap as well as Connor Daly has in case that truck would have a stuck throttle. You can pull it back with your toe.
This is a tail of 2 feet. Well, actually 4 feet. 2 sets of feet.
They're appendages, right?
They are. And this is a couple of guys wearing rain suits.
Smart.
Pretty appropriate today, I think.
Hey, how you doing? No wonder the grass is so green in Ohio.
It rains quite a bit, so right now they're driving around just single file. They will start and restart throughout this race in single file order.
And I think that's smart. I mean, like I talked about, the visual challenges that the rain presents. You double them up, you really have twice as much challenge seeing. So starting on single file, we're going to see enough action. We can start on single file and still have a lot of.
They won't stay single file for long, I can assure you.
You can see Tyler Ankrum there just gave it a little bit of gas and the thing squirted out from underneath of him.
So things a little bit different at this road course because it is standalone. We will have stage breaks. I know that was a different rule, and we saw it at Circuit of the Americas, but we will bring out the flag for the stage breaks. They will come down pit road. They'll have 3 minutes to work. So this is our pit road procedures, a little bit different.
Yeah, the teams will be allowed to change 4 tires, and they'll be able to add fuel, just not at the same time. And the restart order is set by the order at the time of caution. If you stay on the racetrack, choose to stay on the racetrack, then you would restart ahead of the trucks that came down pit road. But the reason is all the pit crews, the majority of the pit crew people are in Atlanta for the Xfinity and the Cup weekend. So this is a cost-saving measure by the Truck Series, and I think it's a great idea.
It's a great idea, and also if you want to talk about a little bit of strategy, you can put fuel in that truck. If you want to change things up, maybe not pit at the stage break, and like you said, Phil, get that track position. So it's still going to be really interesting to see how they approach this race, especially with the rain falling right now.
Because we talk about fuel window. Fuel window probably in the dry is somewhere between 30 and 32 laps. Well, that's going to be better in the rain because they're not going to be going as fast. So that could extend that stage of their fuel window. So these guys would have the potential to stop before the end of the second stage, stay on the racetrack when the other drivers came down pit road during that second stage break and get track position on them.
And if you're running anywhere near the front, you can make that pit stop and definitely not lose a lap because of the length of this racetrack and how long it's going to take to make a lap.
Well, as they continue making their way around the track, feeling it out, you see the rain continues to fall. Hopefully we'll have a green flag shortly. Stay with us from Mid-Ohio.
So had to do a quick commercial break before the drop of the green flag. Again, you can watch the race on Fox Sports 1. Appreciate everybody tuning in for the start of this race here today. It does look like we will be going green in the rain momentarily. Also welcome into the stream Mark Witkowski, Chris Davis, JC1424, Frank Powers, April Conti, and others. Kenneth Clark, welcome into the stream. Also, Philip Moore, I see you in the chat. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Again, our first of 2 races today. The Xfinity Series will be at Atlanta later tonight for our second live commentary coverage race of the day. And, of course, the Cup Series race will be tomorrow evening. Our Cup Series start time tomorrow will be at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That race will be on the USA Network. The Xfinity race later tonight also on the USA Network. as that will begin at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when we will go live for that one. 67 laps, again, the scheduled distance in this race, 20 laps in this first stage. Once we get going, you heard the fuel window, just about 30 to 32 laps, maybe more than that with the rain, and these guys not going to be able to push as hard. Something I heard in the pre-race, when they had qualifying in the rain last year for the Truck Series at Mid-Ohio, the fastest lap that sat on the pole was an average speed of 62 miles per hour, so it's going to be a very, very slow and treacherous pace for all these drivers trying to stay off of each other in the early going. Elliot is crazy. Thanks for tuning it in to the stream here. Writing a book. That's pretty cool. Facecam will be back for the video game streams. I've been getting asked that a lot, obviously, so it will be coming back. Do I know when? I don't know exactly when I'm going to get my room exactly where I want it for the camera, but hopefully sometime sooner rather than later. Appreciate, I mean, we're at least able to get the camera in here, despite it being slightly bare-boned behind me. Very white. It makes for good lighting, I guess, for the camera. Maybe too good when it's super sunny outside. As you can see, it is raining, or at least was earlier, behind me. I only live about an hour and a half north of where the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course is located, which is in Lexington, Ohio, just north of Columbus, Ohio. So, not at the race today, giving you guys a live commentary coverage. I've gone to the track the last couple years. Went there for the Xfinity race 2021 rather, and then the truck race and IndyCar race last week. Last week, IndyCar did run at Mid-Ohio as well. I believe Alex Palou got the win that day. 1-2 finish for Chip Ganassi Racing. Scott Dixon ended up second. Corey Heim on the pole here today will be leading to the field to the green. As you heard, it will be a single file start. And it sounds like we're going to have single file restarts all throughout the course of the race today. Very similar to that of the race last weekend for both the Xfinity and the Cup Series at Chicago. Actually, the Xfinity Series was not, but the Cup Series was. Showed a replay. It looked like Nick Sanchez spun out under caution speed. He has gotten his spot back. He did qualify in the third place position, so a slight hydroplaning there looked like in turn 4, I believe, for Nick Sanchez. And there's definitely some very, very big puddles these guys are starting to splash through in certain areas of the track. Hopefully those tires can get cleaned off as good as possible for Sanchez so it doesn't hurt him too much. Showing the radar currently on screen, and definitely a massive storm rolling through the area. Lightning is cleared out. Hopefully, again, we can get this race started very soon. But they are still on the racetrack, which is good. No, Atlanta is where the Xfinity and Cup Series will be racing, so no inclement weather scheduled for Atlanta for tonight at least. I know it's a 50% chance of rain tomorrow, more so during the day than at night where the race will be taking place, which is good. But 50% chance of rain for the Cup race tomorrow. The Xfinity race will go on as planned at scheduled start time tonight, so that stream will definitely be starting at 8. Sports highlights every day, 1082. Thanks for tuning in. But just waiting to get this one underway here. You ever been to Sandusky to watch the super modifieds or other classes? So I have not watched a race at Sandusky Speedway. I grew up racing there myself. Not on the big half-mile asphalt track, but they had a dirt oval go-kart track in the infield of the half-mile oval. Probably about like an eighth of a mile, if I had to guess. Really short track. I mean, it's a go-kart track. So go-kart, and I grew up. I raced quarter midgets there. Quarter midgets. I didn't really race go-karts there too much. By the time I got, grew out of the quarter midget, basically, I Wasn't really racing go-karts there. Won a track title for the Champ cars there in man, what year was that? Like 2010, 2011, somewhere around there. 2012, somewhere in that time frame. Couple Sportsman of the Year awards, you know, nothing to brag about. No, I had some good times there, so I definitely know where the track is at, and but I had not ever been to an asphalt oval race. I'd actually never even been to Toledo Speedway, and the ARCA Series is raced there every year since its existence. So definitely got to get to an ARCA race, especially now that I live even closer to there. Got to get to an ARCA race in Toledo sometime too. Truck Series used to race in Mansfield, but never went there at all. That track doesn't even exist anymore. I'd never even been to a single NASCAR race at that time, though, when they were racing there, because that was in the mid-2000s. This is like 2003 to 06 or somewhere in the mid-2000s they raced there for a few years. Short track. Of course, Sandusky Speedway is where Thor Sports Racing is out of. They will have 5 trucks in the field for today's race. 4 of them, of course, running full-time for points. A couple on the playoff bubble. 1 driver locked in. Should be Ben Rhodes. And we'll see if they can get a win at their home track here today. Got their work cut out for them, though. None of the Thor Sport trucks starting inside the top 10. I believe the lights are out on the pace truck, and they will be going green this time by. Again, 67 laps, 151 miles, the scheduled distance for today's race. 20 laps to the end of the first stage. I have a feeling we're going to see quite a few spins in today's race. Hopefully we don't see too many, so that way they don't consider throwing a red flag because the conditions are too treacherous. So we'll kind of hope for the best here, but it is going to be a wild race, to say the least, when they drop the green flag. Everybody that ran in the ARCA race that is in the Truck Series race today all finished inside the top 10, and that includes Dean Thompson, who had that crash on the last lap. That's all the amount of cars that were on the lead lap at the very end of that one. 4 of which finished in the top 5. I think William Selowich is going to be one to look out for in today's race if he can keep it clean. Marco Andretti, too. I do think Marco Andretti could end up having a pretty solid run today. Looks like they're cutting to another commercial break. They put the lights back out on the pace truck, and they will not be going green this time by. And we'll wait this out a little bit more again. And before the race started in Tigers game, yeah, Detroit Tigers playing today, of course, at home. I'll be at the game tomorrow afternoon before the NASCAR race. Our stream, again, will start at 6:30. That game starts at 1:40. I should probably be back here somewhere between like 5 and 6, I'd have to imagine. So I'll definitely make sure I have everything set up and ready to go before I leave tomorrow morning. But with it being a Sunday night race, I figured it was going to be one of my few chances to get to a game this year. I haven't been to a game yet, so. They weren't playing at home Father's Day weekend when NASCAR was off the whole weekend, so I wasn't able to catch a game that week. That would have been probably the best week to be able to do it. They got a homestand this weekend, so could work out. Because there's not another night race for the Cup Series until Daytona. At the end of the regular season, last week of August. And the Southern 500 the next week, obviously Sunday night. And then Bristol, they have a night race middle of September as well. But I'll be there for that. Daytona I will not be, obviously. Neither will I be for Darlington. Yeah, definitely got to get up there before. Well, I mean, I have my tickets already, so I'll definitely be up there tomorrow. But yeah, Miguel Cabrera's final season. He's the only player that's been on that team pre-2010, so be sad to see him go. Phoenix sold out, I heard. Awesome. Still under a commercial break. Hey, I'm down for them getting the commercial breaks out before the start of the race, if that means that we get less during the race itself. Delbert Wilson, thanks for tuning in. No problem. Stream every NASCAR Truck, Xfinity, and Cup Series race. Be sure to hit subscribe if you haven't done so already. We were only 3 subscribers away from 4,400, as we're on the road to 5,000 subs. Oh, geez. Connor Jones and somebody else spun under caution, too. Lights are out on the pace truck again. We've seen 3 spins under pace laps. And we're about to see what these guys are going to do full speed this time. Again, a single file start. Matt Hunter, thanks for tuning in. Rooting for Rhodes and the local team ThorSport. Yeah, well, they got a good chance to get a victory lane today. Well, they got a good chance because Ben Rhodes is good on the road courses. And the rain will be a great equalizer because the top 10 starting positions, none of those 5 ThorSport trucks will start in the top 10. So, easiest way to come from behind is going to be in a rain race. So, lights are back out of the pace truck again. So, they've given the 1 to go signal on 2 occasions, but we are not going to go green this time by. There's a lot of standing water in that final corner, turn 13, leading back to the start-finish line. They're going to give them the 1 to go signal again. This will be the 3rd time that they'll give them the 1 to go signal over the last few minutes. There's a lot of safety trucks that are still on the racetrack. There's 2 specific corners where it looks like there's a lot of puddling on the inside lane of the, or not really the inside lane, but the curb lane, the inside of turn 13, and then the outside of turn 4, which is where we saw a couple of the spins take place under caution here. I keep saying caution, but pre-race, I guess, technically. They're caution-paced laps. The race hasn't started, though. But hopefully they get started this time. One truck is stalling out on the front stretch. Looks like Timmy Hill has stalled out, unless he's just dropping to the rear. That might add another lap. I don't know. The rain's definitely not going to let up anytime soon. So if they're going to start it, they might as well start it at this point. They've probably ran every bit of about 10 laps under caution pace. The first stage only being 20 laps anyway, they'll be able to make it on field no problem. And remember that there are no live pit stops in today's race, with this being a standalone truck event. There will be cautions during the stage breaks, even though we don't typically see that on the road courses this season for all 3 series. We will here. And a single file start will be ensuing. Field working their way down into turn 4 currently. Lights are still out on the pace truck for now. NASCAR Vortex. 1 lap to go every time, yeah. Definitely hit that like button. We're up to 34 likes for the start of the race on our goal of 100 for these Truck Series live streams. Let's get there before the end. It's going to be a slow pace today. Drop of the green flag was scheduled a little bit of over 45 minutes ago from where we're at right now. A lot of low-hanging clouds in the sky around the Mid-Ohio Sports Car course from the aerial shot that just panned over on FS1. A lot of puddles, though, out of line on the racetrack, which is going to make things very interesting if you hit those set puddles. We saw that issue in the Chicago Straight Course race for the Cup Series last week, where drivers would hit puddles and kind of skate off. Turn 6, obviously one of the big corners that took place. Turn 11 towards the end of the race as well also had similar situation. It's where that big incident ended up taking place in the late going. And they've added another lap, by the way, of caution. And they'll be giving them the 1 to go signal again. I don't know exactly what they're doing right now. and why they're giving them one to go and then not. I mean, the safety trucks look like they're not moving off of where they are in the racetrack. This has to be excruciating for fans that are just sitting in the rain, scattered across the racetrack, waiting for them to go green and wondering what the heck. Like, I mean, again, the rain is not letting up, so not exactly sure why they would put the cars on, or put the trucks rather, on the racetrack for these pace laps if they didn't think they could go racing. Kind of a waste of everybody's time if they end up not racing. But they've called off the one to go signal 3 times now, and we will see if they will go green on the 4th time. Puddles disappear if you hit them enough. Not if it's still raining. That's the problem. Oh, jeez. Got one truck on pit road. Looks like the 20. Matt Mills pulling off the racetrack. But at least he's on pit road, so that's good. And it looks like he is in his pit box, too. I think he's fogging up on the inside of the race truck, and that's why he is pulled onto pit road. Is major fogging issue on the 20. Looks like there's another truck on pit road as well, also dealing with some fog issues. They don't have to refuel at least yet. They keep adding caution lap. I mean, the good news is they're not burning a lot of fuel under caution anyway. And because they're in the rain, they're not going to burn as much during green flag conditions either. Somebody else just pulled onto pit road too, unless that was a safety truck I just saw. Jake Garcia is one of the other drivers that was back on pit road as well. Looks like they're replacing the window net on the 35 truck of Garcia. So something not right with the window net there, and that's what they're working on for the 35 team and try to get it back out there for the start of the race. Good thing we've ran all these caution laps. Don't have to worry about falling a lap down. They should just top it off on fuel while he's down. that would probably not be legal, but that's what I would do. Pit stops 5 laps. Yeah, got pit for fuel 5 laps into the race. I mean, the lights are still out on the pace truck right now. They have less than a half a lap to go to get back to the start-finish line, although the last couple times they flipped the lights on in the pace truck have been within the last corner or two before they get to pit road. So these drivers have to be ready every lap that they pass by. And it looks like Garcia's gone off track already, so we're probably going to have another delayed lap. Jake Garcia, trying to catch up to the back of the field, has pushed it too far wide. He has gone off track. Pace truck is on pit road this time. They will be getting the green flag. Corey Heim will lead them to the start-finish line, and we are racing in the rain at Mid-Ohio. Single file start, field rolling down into turn 1. Will they make the first turn? Full speed. Corey Heim in the outside lane, going to make it through the corner. A lot of mist, a lot of fog for those drivers further back in the pack. No trucks off track in the top half of the field through the first turn as they enter the keyhole. Caution flag is out again. Caution is out. The race started. They got into turn 1 and the caution flag waved, and I'm not sure what it's for this time. It might be the conditions, which is bringing out the caution. I'm not sure exactly. Oh my goodness, Jack Wood just spun out under caution in turn 2. It didn't look like he got hit either. He just looped it around this very wet racetrack. But we are under caution, lap 1, probably for rain.
To a trickle.
There's Jake.
Oh, and Garcia spun again under caution.
It's an eventful day.
He can't keep it straight.
Those are definitely the rain tires. You can see the white letters on those Goodyear Eagles. That rain tires have that white lettering where the slicks will have yellow lettering.
Jack Wood can't get the 51 fired. Finally does. Going to be able to drive away. Remember when we saw Garcia on pit road fixing his radio? This is when he tried to get caught up to the field and
That's
just
a keyhole right there.
nearly into the sand, but was able to keep out of it.
And that's why we're under caution here on lap number 1 of this race.
I gotta give NASCAR credit for giving it a try and then quickly saying, this is too much.
You saw Jack Wood, the 51. He was on the basically the middle of the racetrack where everyone else was riding around the outside of the racetrack. That might have been a situation where it's a little bit slipperier there, down towards the groove. That may be what bit Jack right there.
It looked pretty smooth sailing for the first 2 or 3 trucks, but then you saw that big, misty, rainy, wet cloud that everybody else was trying to fight through.
Jack had a great qualifying effort, but unfortunately he's gonna lose that track position as Jake Garcia makes his way back down pit road to get that grill cleaned off.
51 and Jack Wood, a little bit different look. Rowdy Manufacturing. Truck looks good. Remember KBM trying to get their 100th win. Jack Wood could get it done, but he's got a lot of work ahead of him now.
And we'll have Kyle back in the truck at Pocono at our next race. That'll be his 5th and final race of the 2023 season. Good look at Jack Wood. Great run yesterday, Jack. I was talking to him this morning, and he said they felt like they started the race yesterday with too low of air pressure. He said it took 15, 20 laps before they really started feeling good. Then they had that break, put tires on, pumped the air up, and then he finished 3rd.
You mentioned it, Phil. He's got 1 to go. 5th start of the season. That's NASCAR rules, and Kyle Busch got that win at Las Vegas. A couple of seconds to Zane Smith, then Corey Haim got him at Martinsville. 1 more try to get number 100. I know Kyle would probably like it the same if Jack Wood got it or if Kyle got it next week.
But it would be pretty fitting for Kyle to get it, though, at Pocono next time out.
100 wins for one organization, and just the names who've come up through Kyle Busch Motorsports, so impressive. Let's get updates once again. Jamie.
Well, just listening in on some of the radios right now, the drivers telling their teams they were unable to see anything. They couldn't tell where the trucks were going into turn 1 in many instances. And another point of visibility, we talked about the windshield wipers. We talked about the need to have the Swiffer on inside of the truck. But another thing that these drivers had to think about before they put their helmets on was what visor did they have on? Were they going to be able to see through it? Did they put anti-fog on it? We see it a lot in road racing when it comes to sports cars. We don't see it happen a lot here in the NASCAR Truck Series. A lot of drivers, they were passing around a bottle of dish soap just to coat the inside of it, keep it from fogging up. Those are little things that you don't think about. They only come from experience. Going to be interesting to see which ones were ready. Amanda?
Jamie, when I talked to Carson Hocevar ahead of this race, he simply said, I hope it rains. He was one of the only trucks in qualifying last year here that did not spin or go off the track. He was able to pick up a 3rd place finish here, but he said he loves moving around on this track and finding grip in these conditions. But when he comes in here off of the win in Nashville and $50,000 from that triple truck challenge, he said he's just holding his shoulders a little higher. But guys, how different is a race line to a wet line to a dry line?
You just want to stay out of it. Stay out of the groove. Get that truck wide in the corners. Maybe run low on the straightaways. I guess that basically sums it up, wouldn't it, Bill?
I think so, too. And we talk about the curbs. They're your friend when the track is dry. You want to completely stay away from the curbs because they're more slippery when they're wet.
There you see Carson with those shoulders back.
He's feeling good about things.
Yeah, things are great for Carson Hocevar. A lot of talk about him maybe moving up to the Xfinity Series next year. We'll see how that plays out.
He's got his feet wet a little bit in the Xfinity Series. Really done a nice job.
He's got his feet wet today.
He did a great job at Gateway.
Oh, he's
Quite
certainly
literally.
Crazy how fast he was. I was in the booth for that race with Clint and Mike Joy, and because I'm a truck guy, cover the truck races, my eyeballs were one eye on him pretty much the whole time, and he moved through that field and was really having a great run before he lost that tire.
Well, he's your kind of guy, Carson Hocevar. Always optimistic, always smiling. We'll see what he can do today. The fans are ready. We're ready. Stay with us.
Well, we're trying. So we got the green flag. So we are running laps under caution as of right now. Where all the laps we were running before that were not counting. They are now counting because we did get the green and then a quick yellow as the field was getting into turn 1. Following all the fog and the mist going into that first turn. Very difficult for drivers on the back half of the field to see. Saw a couple trucks spinning after the caution flag had came out. Jack Wood, one of them, I guess, leading up to the start of the race. Jake Garcia had spun a couple times. They had to fix the window net on his race truck, and then he spun not once but twice trying to catch the back end of the field. He'll be able to catch up now as we're running more caution laps, but fortunately for Wood, he was in the top 10 based off of where he qualified, but because the race had already started and he had failed to maintain speed under caution, that is why he is scored in 35th right now. So tough break there for that 51 team, and they're going to try to get that win for KBM, get number 100 today. It looks like Corey Heim is more than likely going to have to be the driver to get it done, with him starting out towards the front of the field and on the pole. And actually, sorry, Heim is racing for Tricon Garage, not for KBM. So, yeah, never mind. I don't think the 51 is going to have a great chance. I guess with it being the rain, we could see some other hiccups and other slip-ups from other drivers, but just have to wait and see. Waiting this caution flag out right now. You said debris in turn 2. I don't think it was debris that necessarily brought the yellow out, but Jeff Sperry, Thomas T, thanks for tuning in. Running last is easy. Yeah, kind of. Rebecca Chatlos, thanks for tuning in also. Got just over 70 people watching. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Hit that like button on the stream if you haven't done so yet. You're under caution here at Mid-Ohio for this Truck Series event. They're trying to race in the rain. We got one corner in. The full field didn't even get through the first corner by the time that caution came out. Glad we didn't have a major pileup going to the first turn. I was just waiting for Corey Heim to roll into the first turn. He goes straight and the whole field goes straight. Luckily that didn't happen. Trucks are still on the track, though. We are not under red flag conditions as of right now.
Love it.
We tried to start this race.
It's gone, and there's nothing behind it either.
What do you think, Michael?
Clear sky.
I like what I'm seeing. Got the Craftsman blower there, tidying up pit road. You can visibly see the track's already drier. You see offline there how...
Pace truck pulling back on the pit road. We're going to try this a second time, and again, it'll be Corey Heim leading the field of the green. It'll be lap 3. When he crosses the start-finish line, the green flag is back in the air at Mid-Ohio for the second time in the wet. I'm quickly looking into that outside lane into the first turn once again. Ty Majeski going to follow him side by side for third. Slight contact with the 19 of the 2. A little bit of that right rear bumper came off the 19 of Eckes after he had slid past Nick Sanchez in the 2 truck. And they get passed by, looks like Bolt. Oh, no, that is Sanchez. It's tough to tell with the rain. Oh, no, it was Grant Enfinger, 23, who got by both of the 2 race trucks that made contact in that first turn. One truck is around. That's Saulich in the number 1 in turn 2 in the keyhole, where we saw a couple drivers spinning under caution. He's going to get back going in the right direction. Now the 24 Roger Karut spins. He slides into the grass off the exit of turn 2. A lot of drivers hydroplaning. Karut's still spinning in the grass, trying to keep his foot down to keep from getting stuck. Battle for the race lead. A big hop and a wheel spin by the 98 truck. Kept it on the race course, but he did lose about 2 to 3 truck lengths on Corey Heim through turn 4. Still power sliding into turn 5, downhill into 6 for Majeski, and he is struggling to keep that truck on the racetrack as he continues to power slide all over the place. The difficulty in just trying to race the racetrack and keep it on the track is so difficult for these drivers right now. We've already seen a couple spins. Ankrum is now around in turn 6 as well, off in the grass. He'll keep the truck rolling. Now he's got to stop to let the oncoming traffic get by. As he is just sitting there, we will see if he can get back onto the asphalt. He is getting those rear tires spinning in the right direction. He is now in the right direction. A couple trucks trying to miss him from behind. Jack Wood almost went off track, having to brake a little heavily there for the 16 of Ankrum. Winner of yesterday's ARCA race having problems in the early going, so a few spins on the first lap. Big power slide off that final corner by Corey Heim. He'll lead the first green flag lap of the day. Lewis is around on the racetrack as well. We've got spins all over the place. Corey Heim has opened up about a 5 to 6 truck length gap over Majeski in second behind him now. Grant Enfinger, who was able to get to third initially, has already fallen nearly 5 seconds in one lap off of the top two in front of him. In one lap, 5 seconds off the pace. All these drivers not sure exactly how hard they want to push it. All the way to the outside in turn 2 go the top two. Carson Hocevar is making his way to pit road for an unscheduled stop, and the 9 trucks around on the front stretch following turn 13. That was Colby Howard, who started at the back of the field today. Couldn't make a qualifying lap yesterday. They're going to try to jack up the left side of Hocevar's race truck, and they're having problems trying to jack it up. May have a flat left rear tire. They are changing that said left rear tire and trying to keep Hocevar in the lead the lap. Oh, and Haley Deegan's around. Turn 4, it looks like. Actually, no, turn 2 towards the keyhole. She's around on the racetrack after a slide. We've seen 5 or 6 spins already these first couple laps. She will regather herself back onto the racetrack, losing a handful of positions. Another slide behind her by a couple trucks in the outside lane, closer to that curbing. Seems to be more standing water in those areas of the track. Justin Mark Stewart freezing a couple of the trucks that were behind Egan that picked up a free position out of that slide by the 13. And now her and Ankrum running nose to tail with each other after both of them having a spin in the first few laps of this race. It's got to be a little tougher to gauge where the braking zones are in the rain when you don't have anybody directly in front of you, and that's why race leader Corey Heim's doing such a great job of that, as he continues to kind of put a little bit of a gap between himself and Majeski in second. Big battle for third going on between Enfinger, Sanchez, and Eckes. Enfinger slides up that final corner. Sanchez to the back bumper will look to the inside. 3 wide on the front stretch as they head towards turn 1. Christian Eckes can overtake both of them as he powers hard into the corner. Can he get the truck to stick all the way through? It looks like he is going to be able to. Great move by Christian Eckes to go from 5th to 3rd in one turn. And now we'll see if he has anything for the top two that have pulled ahead, already 7 seconds ahead of Eckes. Enfinger remains in 4th. Sanchez trying to get after the 23, who's breaking way early into that second turn. Sanchez a lot deeper into the corner, almost got into the back of Enfinger. Matt Crafton side by side into the keyhole as well underneath the 7 truck of Marco Andretti, making his first start, almost making contact as Crafton loses control in turn 2. The second ThorSport truck to spin. Since the drop of the green flag here, as he's going to get it back going in the right direction. He's going to lose a lot of time to Andretti, who he was battling with, but I think they were so far ahead of everybody else behind him, I don't think Crafton lost a position out of that. I've already lost count how many spins we've seen. We've probably seen about 6 or 7 trucks loop it around in the first 2 to 3 green flag laps of this race. Enfinger is going to lose another position now to Ben Rhodes, who's picking up and putting down positions. Highest running of the local ThorSport trucks in the 7th place position. Tanner Gray also got by Enfinger, who is definitely falling behind. They showed a clip in the pre-race of Enfinger spinning out 3 times in qualifying yesterday, and now the 3rd ThorSport truck is around in the grass. Another truck went with him. Looked like the 51 of Jack Woods got a lot of damage on that left rear corner panel after contact with Chandler Jones in the 66, who went off track. Jones running part-time in that 5th ThorSport entry this season. He ran the ARCA race yesterday, finished in 8th. Off to a rough start here today, and Jack Wood, who is also off to a rough start, he spun under caution, lost all of his track position, and now ended up with some contact with Connor Jones, who went around. Timmy Hill getting by both of those race trucks on the track. Hocevar in 35th did stay on the lead lap by the time they got that left rear tire changed. They're having a slight puncture, it looked like. And I would have to guess it was because of contact. In turn 1, Ben Rhodes gets by Nick Sanchez on the inside lane, and Rhodes is quickly driving after Christian Eckes in the wet. It looks like Ben Rhodes is really picking him up and putting him down. Remember, he won a Daytona rain race on the road course there a couple seasons ago, so if you're looking for somebody to race in the rain, it might be Ben Rhodes, who has going to be the favorite in the early going. He's gone from 12th to 3rd in the first, 4 laps under green flag conditions, considering our restart was at lap 3. Hocevar's off track again, and so is the 04. He was just going off track to miss the spinning 04 truck, who has now spun for the second time since going back to green. But everybody is not stalling out in the wet and damp grass, which is good, and that's why we continue to stay green despite all the spins we have seen. That was Landon Lewis driving the 04 truck. Carruth's off in the grass again as he had Tyler Ankrum close behind. Second time the 24 truck has gone off. He went off the exit of turn 2 earlier, and that time it was the entrance to turn 2 where he went wide. Trucks are going off on a lot of different quarters too. A lot of damage on the right side of Ankrum's race truck, and that might be from Carruth. Carruth is quickly going to drive past Ankrum again. That's unbelievable that he got passed by Ankrum after spinning, and then he gets him back in the next corner. You can definitely tell the 24 truck's pushing a little harder than some of these other drivers. Sometimes he's gaining, sometimes he's losing a lot. Caution is out for the second time now. It looks like Tanner Gray has stalled. He is in the gravel pit down towards, I believe, turn 4 maybe? If it's not turn 4, it's turn 2. And it does look like turn 2. So turn 2 is where Tanner Gray is off in the gravel pit. Bringing out the caution. He is stuck. And he's going to need a safety truck to try to get him out of there. A crazy and action-packed, to say the least, start to this race. Corey Heim is in second right now. Ty Majeski leads. I don't know if maybe Majeski had caught and passed Heim after a slip-up before they had the caution flag come out. But on our leaderboard, as well as Fox's leaderboard, if you're watching live on FS1, it is scoring Ty Majeski as the race leader, despite the fact that Corey Heim is initially ahead. For all we knew, we didn't see a pass there. I think Fox missed a pass for the lead somewhere on the track. Whether it was because Heim spun under caution or Majeski caught him under green. One way or another, we missed a pass for the lead, but Ty Majeski is now out in front. Typical Fox. They don't have the broadcasters at the racetrack this weekend. We saw that in the second half of the season for the Truck Series last year as well. Broadcasters in the booth this weekend would be Jamie Little, Phil Parsons, and Michael Waltrip, but they are back in the Charlotte studios, bringing the lap-by-lap coverage of the race. Kimo Conklin, Seth Thomas, Cedars Farms, Jackson Thomas also welcome into the stream. Nicole Wembley, welcome in. Marco going to race NASCAR full-time, possibly, I heard. I mean, I don't know about that, but it'd be interesting if he did. I mean, he ran pretty good on the short tracks in the SRX series. Granted, he was going against a lot of former NASCAR drivers, not as much with the current drivers, but he was kind of holding his own. There aren't as many short tracks in the NASCAR schedule anymore, but more of which in the, Truck Series. And the Xfinity Series has a lot of road courses, which could probably help him too, so I don't know. We'll see. It's cool seeing him get his first truck start today. He's currently in 10th. And again, we are under caution for the second time. We have 20 laps in the first stage. We're currently at lap 8 at the time of the second yellow. Ty Majeski leads the race. Corey Heim is in second. Ben Rhodes third. Christian Eck is fourth. Nick Sanchez is fifth. Taylor Gray sixth. Grant Enfinger seventh. Will Rogers eighth. Austin Wayne Self ninth. And Marco Andretti rounds out the top 10. We will take a quick break here during this caution period as I get the 15 truck of Tanner Gray out of the gravel pit in turn 2. And we will get back to racing shortly. You're listening live to the O'Reilly Auto Parts 150 at Mid-Ohio for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on KRC. Stanley C. Panther, thanks for tuning into the stream also. Got 42 likes on the stream. Our goal out of 175 people currently watching in our first of 2 live commentary streams on the day. Again, the Xfinity Series at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Later tonight, we'll be racing at Atlanta. A little super speedway action. We've got a road course race in the rain. We've got 2 super speedway races to watch this weekend. It'll be interesting to say the least. They have pulled the 15 truck out of the pit, and he will be able to get going back in the right direction here shortly. Might end up losing a lap. So it took a little time. We did have an Xfinity race in the rain here. Justin Marks won that race. I think that was his only career Xfinity win, if I'm not mistaken. And he is in this race today in the 41 for Nice Motorsports. And I'm not sure where he's at in the running order. He's not, actually, no, Connor Daly. My bad. Connor Daly's in the car. Justin Marks ran the truck race in the 41 here last season. I don't know why I said he was in the field this year. And, of course, he ran the Xfinity Series race last weekend, had an engine failure. He ran the 10 for Colleague Racing. Fortunately, blew up just 10 laps in while running in the top 10 early. Yeah, it will be a single-file restart, just like we had off the initial start there until NASCAR says otherwise. We may be in dry conditions by the end of the race, but as of right now, still in the wet, obviously. Who else thinks it's bad? Broadcast from studio versus... I mean, literally, they are doing the same exact thing I'm doing here. They're watching through a monitor, broadcasting the race. I'm watching through my phone. Phone, I used to do it with a TV or a laptop in certain cases. So they're literally doing the same thing I'm doing. The only difference is I don't have... in-race pit reporters that I can radio into during the race. That's where you guys will have to listen to the broadcast. But other than that, as far as the three-man/women booth for FS1 this weekend, it's the same thing I'm doing. I think that goes to show that I can do this then. If they're able to do it, and I can do it. The crazy thing is like, if it is a cost-saving measure, the fact that I can literally do this, I mean, granted, it costs, money in the initial run to, get this laptop, to buy a mic and stuff. So, could I have done this with zero money? No, but in the grand scheme of things now, like, that I'm over a year into the live commentary stuff, hasn't costed me anything to do it this year. It's literally, free for me to do this. And I know, obviously, with the lighting and everything that they have, I really should say outside of an electric bill, it's free to be able to do this. And same thing kind of goes for people in the Fox booth. There are some trucks back on pit road again. Hocevar is in. We saw him have to come down after having a left rear flat. There was quite a bit of damage on the right side of Tyler Ankram's race truck. He is on pit road as well. 66, Connor Jones is in the pits. Pretty much anybody that had a spin is on pit road as of right now. A spin or went off the track in some way, shape, or form. Jones, one of the teenagers in the field today, 17 years of age. Wrightsburg, Virginia. And this is the third start of the year for him. I think he ran at Nashville a couple weeks ago, most recently. Showing the pass for the lead, Corey Heim's slip-up was in turn 2, which seems to be where the majority of the spins have taken place, pretty much anywhere in that corner, whether it's been the middle, the entry, or the exit. So we finally saw a pass for the lead right as they were going to commercial break. Following going to commercial break the first time when we missed the pass for the lead. But the pass for the lead happened right before the caution came out. Ty Majeski got to the inside of Corey Heim after Heim had a slip-up in turn 2. So now Majeski will be the leader to the restart whenever we get back to racing here. NASCAR Fan 33, thanks for tuning in. Yeah, Jamie Little does a phenomenal... Honestly, I think she's the best pit reporter. And, I mean, she's the most tenured pit reporter for Fox, at least, but definitely the best there. Her, as far as like the best overall, I think her and Marty Snyder are probably the two best. The only thing, Marty Snyder tends to at times almost overanalyze things. Like, he'll be talking about the upsets, and then he'll, like, call the race off pit road. I don't know if NBC tells him that or not, but I feel like that's where they have to pan to the booth, and that's more for Rick Allen to do. I do feel like he kind of talks over himself a little bit too much. At times, not all the time. But I still think he's very, very good. Jamie Little doesn't seem to do that. And she's been at it for a while, too, because she was calling races back in the ESPN days there in the late 2000s. She was a pit reporter at the time. Marty Snyder, obviously, since the early 2000s with NBC in their first run. I like Dave Burton's as a pit reporter too, but I don't like him as a reporter asking questions, because I feel like he's asked some dumb questions in the last couple of years, I've noticed. Some of the drivers will call him out on it too every now and then too, which is kind of funny. I mean, I kind of feel for him in a certain way because he kind of gets lit up by like Kyle Busch or something. It's like, well, why'd you ask this stupid question for? I mean, you ask stupid questions, get stupid answers. That's what I've always been told. It makes for good TV. Maybe that's why he does it. Throws himself under the bus intentionally to make for good content. If that's what he's doing, then brilliant. If that's what he's doing, then that automatically makes him the GOAT. But what the heck is this racing? Well, it is rain racing to say the least. It is whoever makes the least amount of mistakes racing is going to be the winner. That's what kind of racing we're watching. I do think we'll be going green this time by. We'll be halfway through stage 1 when they take the green flag, or at least when they get to the start-finish line this time regardless. They get 20 laps in the first stage. Once the storm cell passes through, it's not supposed to rain at the racetrack for the rest of this race. Very, very damp conditions. And we're actually already at lap 11 in the stage, so we're already to 10 laps left for stage 1. Once again, Ty Majeski is the leader. It must not be raining anymore at the track. I think it's just damp. And that dampness will go away at some point in time. It'll be interesting to see during the stage break if there will be a call to go to slick tires versus rain tires. Again, there will be no changing of positions, no live pit stops during caution flag periods today, with this being a standalone truck event, so we will have a 3-minute red flag period at the end of each of the first 2 stages for teams to make adjustments, change tires, top off on fuel, and etc. Yeah, Jerry Punch was very good too. He doesn't do it anymore though, but otherwise he would definitely be up there on that list also. Alright, pace truck is in. Through the Geico restart zone, green flag back in the air. Majeski leads the field to the green for the first time today. Corey Hyman second place right behind him. Going to look to the outside into turn 1. Couple other trucks further back in the field trying to push a little bit harder. Not as much miss going into the first turn that time for drivers further back in the pack. Heim will get to the race lead off of turn 1, and he'll have the inside lane trying to block Ben Rhodes, who's going to get the second as Majeski was caught napping. Rhodes looking to the outside trying to outbreak the 11 truck. He's going to go up to try to protect and block. Rhodes gets a little squirrely, almost goes off the racetrack, but he holds on to second. Ty Majeski back in the third place position when he got himself single-filed in line. Couple trucks are double wide into turn 2. Further back in the pack, Zane Smith trying to work his way from the rear of the field, already up inside the 14th place position. Outlasting all the spins and carnage that's happened in front of him. He may be a player involved in trying to win this race later on in the day. Ben Rhodes, who has definitely been the best in the rain at this point of the race, has now gotten himself into second after starting 12th in just these first 12 laps, and the majority of them ran under caution. Everybody able to at least keep it on the racetrack and not spin through the first half of the lap following this restart this time by as the track is slowly drying up. Not as much standing water in particular corners of the racetrack where we had seen that up to this point so far. Nick Sanchez, Christian Eckes battling for position on the track. Will Rogers up inside the top 10 in the O2 truck. Young Motorsports, Colby Howard's around again. And trying to spin the truck back in the right direction as he had oncoming traffic working their way by. Has to go out into the grass before working his way back onto the racetrack once again. And it looked like the race leader went off the racetrack as well in that final corner. Corey Heim in turn 13 goes wide into the grass. And he will fall back to third place, and he is more than a second off the lead now. Ben Rhodes now out in front for the first time today for Thor Sport Racing. 2 Thor Sport trucks, in fact, 1-2 at the front of the field. So on the inside lane, powered back into the throttle a little too hard and too abruptly, and that caused him to get his right sides off into the grass. Matt Crafton spins like a top now in turn 2. He's off into the grass. Has to wait for the oncoming traffic to get by. And Crafton is going to lose a ton of positions here. He was up to 12th after starting outside the top 20. And it looked like he actually had a little bit of help as there was some contact underneath him. It looked like from the 7 truck of Marco Andretti, who had gotten into Matt Crafton there and sent Crafton for a spill in turn 2. Gets back onto the racing surface, but lost over a dozen positions and is now at the back end of the lead lap. Nick Sanchez putting pressure on Corey Heim for third after Heim had the spin, and the 15 truck is off into the gravel pit again, trying to stay in the gas so he doesn't get stuck this time, but he is so far off in the gravel pit in turn 2. He is still in the gas. Can he keep it off of the tire wall, drifting his way around the corner, still standing on the throttle, and he gets himself to the grass. Great job by Tanner Gray, not stalling out that time in turn 2. I've never seen a vehicle that deep into the gravel pit and still been able to get their way out of it on any road course, rain or dry. And somehow he was able to do it. Same spot he got stuck in the last time, and he learned from his mistake to at least keep his foot in it and didn't end up getting stuck this time, but he lost whatever positions he gained on the restart and is going to be about a half a lap off the race lead again. Rhodes has a 1.8 second lead over his teammate. Turn 1, Nick Sanchez makes a pass for third on Corey Heim. Taylor Gray starting to work himself up into the picture as he looks to the inside of Heim into turn 2 for fourth. Ducks back in line behind the 11. Couldn't carry too much speed in, trying to make sure he keeps it on the racetrack, of course. Better safe than sorry in that situation for Gray. And he'll try to set up a pass on Heim this time off of the corner. And I think ever since Corey Heim went a little bit off track, he hasn't been able to get the momentum rolling. What looked like he was the best truck early at the front of the field. Not the case right now as he continues to lose track position. Over the course of this green flag run is already 10.5 seconds off the lead after leading just a few laps ago. Couple trucks have stalled out after contact. Colby Howard, Carson Hocevar are around, and it looks to be in turn 4. After that long straightaway, looked like Colby Howard drove it in way too deep, and then Carson Hocevar got ran into the back of. Now, Hocevar did widen his line out at the last second, but it looked like the 9 truck was not going to make the corner as he was coming in very much faster than the 42. Caution flag is out as they are going to have to retrieve both trucks out of the sand in that corner, so we are under yellow for the third time. Again, Ben Rhodes is your race leader on lap 14 at the time of the caution. 7 to go in stage 1. We will get another restart before the end of this stage, and we may see pit stops from drivers at the front of the field who might sacrifice some stage points to get that track position back at the beginning of stage 2 if they choose to pit right now. Showing the tracks from Tanner Gray in turn 2. He went the long way through the pit. Actually, it's turn 4. That was not turn 2. It was turn 4 where Tanner Gray went off the track, which was the same corner we just saw the incident take place between Hocevar and Howard. Oddly enough, Gray was right in front of both trucks when he did that. Well, that's the silliest thing that's happened in this race so far, and we still might get topped. At 81 people watching, appreciate everybody tuning in for our live race coverage of the O'Reilly Auto Parts 150. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We'll take a quick break here, and then we'll get back to the action on the ensuing restart. Already retrieved Hocevar's truck off of the turn 4 pit. Actually, that's turn 2. So turn 4 is where Gray went off. Turn 2 is where Hocevar and Howard went off the track.
Crew chief, period. Question right now is, when do you switch over to the dry tires? What are you and your driver communicating about?
So we were just talking about that, and obviously sun's coming out, so we're not really sure just yet. There's some spots that are dry, some spots that are wet. We're going to run this out till the end and see what the track does, and then go from there.
All right, they're certainly taking the most out of this. Amanda?
Well, that is the exact conversation that's happening here for the two and Nick Sanchez. And Danny, you guys have been talking back and forth on the tire choice. What are you going to do here in the break?
We'll just have to watch and see what this track does. The sun's getting ready to come out, the clouds are rolling away, and I believe the rain's surpassed us. So it just depends on how quick this track dries up. We got about 6 more laps until this stage break. We'll just have to play it by ear and see what it does here.
You guys know the points position this team is in. Does that make the decision harder?
No, the decision's not harder. It's just about not overstepping our boundaries right now on the racetrack in these conditions, and making sure that we optimize our points right now. So optimizing everything that we can to try to get every point possible. So overstepping that boundary could be a big detriment, and we don't want to do that today. So Nick's doing a great job.
Thank you, Danny. Jamie?
Yes, no doubt. Nick Sanchez third right now.
You know what? I saw a lot of poker faces there.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll just have to see how things go. Make a decision as they come to the end of the stage. They don't want to show their hands. But I think that these drivers and teams are thinking heavily about dry tires at the end of the stage.
So here's the cutoff for the playoffs as they stand right now. Craftsman on the outside, Tanner Gray down there, 23 out, but there's still a lot of racing to go. And guys, you know what's different about this screen, what we're seeing?
Sunshine.
The sun is shining.
Yeah. That's going to obviously accelerate the drying. I'm not sure that this track's going to be ready for dry tires at the first stage break. Are you, Michael?
I just said it's a possibility. There could be split strategies. You can see Taylor Gray over there in the wettest part of the track, just trying to keep those tires cool. These rain tires are softer, so once that track starts to dry out, they really start to wear.
There's been a lot of activity. Not a lot of trucks in this field that haven't gone off the course somewhere.
Sure. I was talking to Eric Amarola, who ran in the rain at Chicago, and he said there was about a car width and a quarter groove of dry pavement when they went to their, or dry-ish pavement when they went to their slicks. And he said, you get off that groove a little bit and it's a handful. So there's a difference in the tires. That sun baking down a few laps of green, there's going to be some decisions to be made. I know what I would like, more rain tires, because that's scary being any of the tracks at all wet. It's scary being on slicks when it's wet.
And NASCAR's opened it up where you can, I mean, if we can go 3 laps after the stage break if you put wet tires on again, that you can come put dry tires if you feel like it's dry. So they're not locked in to staying on one type of tire.
Well, you see a few drivers on pit road. Matt Craftsman just put wet tires on again, his second set. Haley Deegan just behind him.
Matt's been an interesting cat. Started outside the top 20, spun twice, was all the way into the top 10 twice, and now he comes to pit road to get fresh tires and go at it again. He must like his truck in the rain.
How about their team, Thorsport, just up the road in Sandusky, Ohio?
Another one of the Thorsport trucks right here. Haley Deegan. Thorsport running 1-2 right now with Ben Rhodes and Ty Majeski.
Craftsman and Deegan both on pit road. So they're going to have the field sandwiched. Is ThorSport.
Couple in the front, couple in the back. So 5 laps to go in stage number 1. Just a reminder, we will have that stage break.
How about Austin Wayne Self and Will Rogers inside the top 10 here? And Zane Smith from the back. There's that 0-2 of Rogers, Young's Motorsports. And then right behind him, started in the back, and has made his way to the top 10. Oh, Mr. Tipico himself.
Will's won 3 times on the road courses in the East and the West Series. A very accomplished road racer. He's done some Trans Am racing as well. I'm not sure he didn't go to Victory Lane this year in a Trans Am series.
Best performance all day, I think, so far has gone to Zane Smith, starting 28th all the way up inside the top 10. As we're ready to go green again here.
Great stories of guys that haven't spun.
Are there any?
They're few and far between.
That's what makes them so great, Phil.
Heading to the front stretch, it'll be Ben Rhodes leading the field to the green, followed by Ty Majeski, Nick Sanchez, the top 3. Green flag back in the air, 4 laps to go in stage 1. Everybody still on the rain tires at the front of the field with the damp racetrack. Sun coming out for now. No more rain projected through the rest of the afternoon. Still single file restart once again as well at the front of the field. Majeski trying to charge onto his teammate Ben Rhodes. Not going to be able to gain much ground into the keyhole. Couple trucks side by side further back in the field. The 22 slides way up in front of the 38 of Zane Smith, who's now going to apply a crossover move, looking to the inside off the exit of the corner. And they'll drag race now down that longest straightaway, the racetrack, headed towards turn 4. And speaking of drag race down the racetrack, it looks like Rhodes and Majeski still putting the battle on. Rhodes trying to break whatever draft Majeski had. Majeski with a slightly flatter line, half a truck length below the 99, getting into turn 4. As the track continues to dry, more and more aggressive moves are going to start to be made as these drivers start to get more acclimated with the current conditions. Rhodes, 2 truck length lead as they go through the S's. 99 followed by the 98. Nick Sanchez not that far behind. Corey Heim lost a lot of ground again on this restart as he continues to struggle over the course of the longer run on those tires, which definitely start to fall off the more dry the track gets. How wet it's been up to this point, we probably haven't seen a lot of fall off from the tires themselves. In fact, the lap times continue to get quicker. Everybody ran their fastest lap of the day, that last lap before the last caution. 3 laps to go in stage 1 for Ben Rhodes. As long as he doesn't make a major mistake, he is pulling away from Ty Majeski for right now. And speaking of major mistake, the 17 truck of Taylor Gray is off track after running in 6th. He's around in turn 12. Still spinning around, doing a couple donuts in the grass as he's trying to get pointed back in the right direction. And the rookie is going to lose a ton of track position here. More contact further back and a lot of damage with the 66 and the 12 as they seem to be stuck in the gravel pit. Looks like Connor Jones might be able to get out of it. I don't think Spencer Boyd in the 12 is going to get out. He's spinning his rear tires. He is definitely stuck. We are green for now, but we are expected to get a caution any moment, as those 2 trucks are off the racetrack and they are both stuck in the gravel pit. And this should be our 4th caution of the day, which would lead into the stage end, as we only have a few laps to go. A lot of tire smoke coming out of that right front of Taylor Gray, who did not pit that last time by. They probably told him to stay on the track because we are expected to see a caution from the 66. It looked like Zane Smith got into Taylor Gray, which spun Gray around, so no mistake from Gray there. It was the truck underneath him of Zane Smith who pedaled it too hard in turn 12. And then there was a lot of contact between the 12 and the 66, which caused a spin there. That looked like that was all Spencer Boyd. Drove it in too deep getting into the corner, and then he cut across the front bumper of Connor Jones's race truck as well. The caution flag is now displayed as the field is coming up on 2 to go at the line. So under the caution, Ben Rhodes is going to win stage 2. Came into the race 5th in the regular season point standings, so maybe he still has an outside chance to win the regular season title. Good news is for Rhodes, this is his first stage win of the season, so there'll be another playoff point awarded to him. He'll have 6 on the year as we run right now in the 14th race of the Truck Series season. So again, the stage will end under caution in 2 more laps. As of right now, though, it will be Ben Rhodes who will get the stage win. And we will end up seeing pit stops at the end of this stage break. Teams will get the top off on fuel, take 4 tires. Positions will not change during the stage caution. And the stage red flag, I should say, with the live pit stops, or with the pit stops, because they aren't live pit stops, with this being, again, a standalone truck event this weekend. At 50 likes on the stream so far, and we still have about 47 laps to go at the end of the stage here, so be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Stay right here with our coverage. Your top 10 in Stage 1, Ben Rhodes will win the stage, Ty Majeski 2nd, Nick Sanchez 3rd, Corey Heim 4th, Christian Eck is 5th, Will Rogers 6th, good run for him so far, Zane Smith 7th from last, Austin Wayne Self 8th, Stuart Friesen 9th, and Lawless Allen with the top 10 in the first stage, good run for that 45 team so far. And again, this is our 4th caution, which will end the stage. 4 yellows in a 20-lap stage. You definitely tell that the rain is causing havoc even to this point. It'll be interesting to see if anybody will decide to take slick tires versus the wet rain tires with the treads. We've got some teams with slicks on the wall. I mean, you got to figure that a lot of these smaller teams, with not having the Cup Series running at Mid-Ohio this weekend, so a lot of the smaller teams, it's going to be tougher for them to change to slicks during green flag conditions. And you would have to imagine before the end of Stage 2, it will be dry enough to have slick tires on, but these first couple laps of the next stage, it's still going to be very damp yet. And that's where not having live pit stops is going to definitely cause maybe a little bit of problems for some of these teams that just don't have the numbers of men and women to go to work on their trucks here during green flag action. Which I think is why you saw quite a few teams pit before to at least top off on fuel before the end of that last stage with the caution we had. And then about a full green flag lap before the next yellow. We are already almost 50 minutes into this race before the first stage came to an end. And this is a truck race nonetheless. It's supposed to be like the shortest race of the weekend by distance. 151 miles. Again, Spencer Boyd and Connor Jones getting together, bringing out the caution. It's the 3rd time that 66 and Connor Jones has gone off track, though that time it was not his fault. Boyd kind of ran off the track and took the 66 with him. It's the first time the 66 has been the reason for one of the cautions we've seen, though, today. The other 2 instances where he went off the racetrack, he was able to get back going in the right direction again. Bond1771, thanks for tuning into the stream also. Silent Owl Scribe, thanks for tuning in also. Team sharing crew members this weekend? I mean, not really. I mean, you can't really do that under... I mean, I know they have 3 minutes, but 3 minutes isn't a lot of time to be able to work on the cars. And they can only have so many men over the wall during a pit stop, too. You can still only have, five members over the wall. Used to be 6. Used to be 7, and then I can remember it was dropped to 6 and then to 5 in recent years. So again, we are at the Stage 1 break. About 4.5 hours away from the drop of the green flag of tonight's NASCAR Xfinity Series race. Again, our live coverage will begin at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time later tonight for the second race of our Saturday doubleheader for the Truck and the Xfinity Series. We had a pretty good race at Atlanta for the Xfinity Series last season. Wild finish to that one. Nearly 3 wide for the race leadoff. Turn 4, fortunately, did not end with all 3 of those cars making it to the checkered flag without being involved in some sort of an incident there. Austin Hill got the win. He'll be looking for the Atlanta sweep this season. He's won back-to-back spring races at Atlanta. We'll see if he can win this summer race later tonight. Got 53 likes. Again, our goal is 100, so definitely hit that like button if you haven't already. So we have just over 85 people watching the stream from the chat currently. did not make a pick for who I thought was going to win this race. Honestly, I had no clue coming in with the rain. And Ben Rhodes didn't qualify particularly well, and Zane Smith had to drop to the rear. They were probably going to be my two favorites to win if it stayed dry. They're working their way up there, but yeah, I didn't make a pick for the race today. I'll make sure I have one for the Xfinity race later. So again, currently on the final lap of Stage 1. They do have to complete this lap, and then I believe they'll be coming into the pits the following lap to end up making that pit stop. So you have two ThorSport trucks running first and second, and then the other three, because of spins, are 30th, 31st, and 33rd. That's how the five of them are running today. Very good and very bad. Grant Enfinger's fallen back quite a bit, too, to 11th after starting in the top 5. He's not going to get any stage points. He's in the battle for that regular season championship with Corey Heim. Heim, who came in as the points leader, gets 7 stage points. Majeski and Rhodes, who were a little bit further back in points behind him, going to outscore him 4 points. But not going to cut the deficit down quite a bit here in this first stage. Big points for Nick Sanchez, who will get 8 after finishing 3rd in Stage 1. 6 points below the cutoff line, or above the cutoff line coming into the race today. On Stuart Friesen. Friesen from the rear of the field got up to 9th, which is a good job for him just to get those 2 points, but he's still going to get outscored by 7 in the stage to Sanchez. Should say 6 points. Will be the difference between those two trucks. Connor Daly up to 13th after starting 32nd. Pretty good run for that 41 team right now. I think before Justin Marks had the brake failure in that 41 truck at this track last year, he was like right around 10th.
On the wall, ultimately, whose decision is that?
It's both of us. We're just, he can see the racetrack and I can't, so I'm going all off of him, and he thinks slicks are going to be the way to go.
We're going to get pit stops here real soon. Thanks, Joe.
That's cool. I love it.
Yeah.
I think so too. Look, of
They're
course
back.
we're going to put on dry tires.
Our weather indicators.
Yeah, there's our weather indicators, exactly. They're full dry now, and that's what I think the decision is. They're just, you can see the pavement right there where the trucks are. It's dry. I like Joe Shear's attitude, though. He says he can see the track and he wants to go for it. That's risky, I will tell you that, but I think it's cool.
And he's trusting his driver to make the call. He's going to go for slicks. What else do you have, Amanda? What are you hearing?
When we look at these conditions drying out, look at Stuart Friesen all the way up to the 9th position after those troubles earlier in the race. I'm with Jonathan Stewart, who's making the decisions for the team this weekend. I'm sure it was hard back from wet to slicks, but what did Stewart relate to you guys?
No grip. I mean, he's a dirt driver, and we told him to stay out of the dirt, and so far that's worked out pretty good.
Slicks or wets?
Well, everyone wants to know that.
That's exactly right.
All I can tell you guys is slicks are close to the wall, so I'm anticipating slicks for Stuart Friesen.
I think the closest, the closest you're going to get anyone to tell you the truth on that question on pit road right now is what Joe Shear told us. Yeah. Joe Shear said, we're going to put them on. Everybody else is going to keep that pretty close to the vest.
Well, I like it. We're about to find out. Everybody's hand is going to be shown.
And don't think all those crew chiefs aren't looking up and down pit road.
It does seem like a lot of teams are going with slicks, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see some teams try the rain tires. That'll help them in the early going to the stage, but the long run in this second stage, it'll probably end up hurting them. Field is on their way to pit road. They cannot make any adjustments yet or touch the race trucks. In fact, until every truck is in their pit box, then a horn will sound off and they'll have 3 minutes to go to work on their race trucks. And I believe they do have to be out of their box in that 3-minute period. Otherwise, it'll be a penalty.
And they can't go over the wall until all the trucks have stopped.
I just said that, Michael.
They're standing idly by now, but that looks like Ben
guy.
Rhodes, and the decision has been made there.
So Slick's ready to go on the 99.
I think it'll be mostly slicks from what I'm seeing right here.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how fast the racetrack will continue to drive, too. We ran, 2 or 3 laps under caution, and it looked like the racetrack had dried even significantly more than it had before.
Looked like somebody, maybe Raja Karuth, backing into his pit box.
Carson Hocevar is 2 laps down. He will wave around. That's why he has stayed out on the track. Matt Craftsman, we just saw him on pit road getting fresh, wet tires.
Wet tires, exactly.
So he's in a bit of a different plan, it appears. Amanda, what are you learning now? Anybody else telling you the truth yet?
Well, if you take a look at the 2 here, the guys are over the wall. Those slicks are going to go on to Nick Sanchez. So that was the final call from Danny Stockman. You'll see a little left front damage on that truck. That was from a spin that Nick had earlier in the race. But, you know, they're just juggling this decision of how hard they run this track based on the point situation. If you take a look at the 16 of the 19 of Christian Eckes, they knew early on that they were going to go to slicks. It just felt really good on that line for Christian. He has Michael Self in his ear this weekend. He's a road racer and former ARCA teammate of Christian, and he works as a Trans Am driver coach. So perfect ear for Christian this weekend. Jamie?
Further up pit lane, both Ben Rhodes and Ty Majeski, the 99 and the 98, pitted together. And Ben Rhodes in that number 99, he said, look for us when we go back to dries. He said, in the dry, we are easily a top 3 truck. But he said our weakness is when we go out on new tires. He said their setup, their balance, everything that they learned in the truck yesterday, it works for them after about lap 10. So I don't expect him to have the best restart he's ever had, but he said he certainly does have a truck that he can work with. For Ty Majeski, you see those yellow Goodyears on the side. They did ultimately make that decision to switch over to the dry tires, just like everybody else. It's synchronized air guns down here on pit lane right now. Joe Shear Jr. said, you brought me back a dirty truck, man. And Ty, keeping it cool and calm, he said, hey, listen, we've been doing some work out there, so the work is about to continue, but these guys still have some few units out here. Fuel's going to go in right now. They're just taking their time, making sure nobody makes any mistakes. This is the point where, you know, you can't really lose a whole lot unless you're not finished once that 3-minute clock expires. So everybody going through the paces, everybody coming back down. We have a very different race that's about to unfold when we go to green. So everybody needs to get into a new rhythm for the remainder of this one, Jamie.
That's right. It's just a different look when people aren't rushing. They can take their time. But Ty Majeski, some really big adjustments there. Look like wedge and track bar on both sides. You have the wedge adjustment. So anticipating some changes here with the track being dry.
I think they anticipated the track being wet to start, so I think they probably made changes this morning to those trucks, anticipating the wet racetrack. Now they're taking some of that back out of it because we know we're going dry.
Getting word from NASCAR that the 42 of Carson Hocevar is not wave around eligible, so
He's behind Matt Craftsman. Matt's on the lead lap,
yeah.
so Matt stayed on the racetrack. That's what kept him from being wave around eligible.
Which you know, you wonder why Carson just stayed out, knowing that wasn't going to happen. But what's going to happen to Craftsman now? We talked about staying on wet tires. He's the only one, I think.
We're going to see how it works out.
From what we saw, everybody put on dries. It'll be interesting to see how this restart plays out.
So Matt Craftsman sitting there. Carson Hocevar's had his issues, 2 laps down, but...
So here we are during the Stage 1 break as of right now, 20 laps into the race. Ben Rhodes won the first stage. He'll be leading the field to the green shortly. And we'll get back to road racing here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series and the O'Reilly Auto Parts 150. Your Cobra, thanks for tuning in. Yep, Xfinity race is tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so we got a little less than 4.5 hours till the start of that stream a little bit later on. Should be an interesting one. Under the lights at the new Atlanta for the first time this weekend for both the Xfinity and the Cup Series races. It'll start more in the daytime and then end in the night for tomorrow's race, but as far as today's, mostly in the night. with about an hour later start time. Shorter race, which is why they can get away with starting it just a little bit later as well. So both end at similar times from tonight and tomorrow. So again, Ben Rhodes currently your race leader. His teammate Ty Majeski is in second for the ensuing restart. Nick Sanchez is third, Corey Heim fourth, and then Christian Eckes is your top 5 to the next restart. It'll be interesting if we'll have a single file restart or a double file restart for the start of stage 2. Still, with the track being damp and a lot of drivers on slicks, even though it is starting to dry up, I think you're still going to see a single file restart like we saw for most of that Chicago street course race last weekend for the Cup Series. As far as I know, still single file restart. I haven't heard otherwise. We'll find out when they come back to the action. Still currently under the commercial break for right now. Again, we are in the middle of stage 1 for this race. Michael Turner, thanks for tuning in. Oh yeah, track time's definitely going to be much cooler. 90 degrees during the day, I know, for a high at Atlanta today, and I think 84 tomorrow. Very humid, I would have to imagine, down south in July. Main reason for them starting the race at night this year for both series. So last year they were both in the day, and it was a scorcher. I think they actually have qualifying going on here real soon. I think Xfinity qualifying starts at 4, and then Cup qualifying's right after that. But the truck race still going on. Obviously, we'll have commentary for that. Any updates I get, though, from qualifying for the Xfinity or Cup race during the course of this race, I'll let you guys know.
On the wet tires, Jared Prince, you're the crew chief. This comes down to a team effort for you guys, but you say you're not stopping again until lap 40. What is going to be the biggest challenge for Matt out there?
The sun. We fell to 30th after we got spun out there, so we had nothing to lose. I figured starting first was better than 30th. We may fall back to 10th, 15th here as the track dries out, but at the end of the day, I was just trying for some track position.
Track position you got. We're going to go back to green pretty soon, Jamie.
Thanks, Jamie. What do you guys think?
Well, there's a reason why everybody else put on slicks. And we're getting ready to see that reason. But for a couple laps, he might, like Jared said, he might be able to hang in there in the top 10.
Stage 1 results here. Ben Rhodes picks up those 10 points. All the way back to Lawless Allen gets a point.
Stuart Friesen, great job after that problem yesterday.
Yeah, Will Rogers with a great 6th place run in that first stage. And Austin Wayne self, a top 10.
I love what Friesen's crew chief said. Well, he's a dirt racer, told him to stay out of the dirt.
For the first time ever.
First time ever.
Here we go. Hang on, Matt Crafton.
It will be a single file restart. Matt Crafton out in front. Couple Thor Sport trucks right behind him this time. Crafton, the only driver that we know of on rain tires on a mostly dry racetrack now. Green flag is back in the air for Crafton. Gets a good launch to the Geico restart zone. Down into turn 1. He's going to have to keep that truck in the wet as much as he possibly can. And already into the first turn, Ben Rhodes looking for the race lead on his teammate. They'll drag race down the next long straightaway, headed towards turn 2. Rhodes on the outside. Crafton pulls the block. Now down to the inside goes Ben Rhodes. 3 wide further behind him, right around 3rd or 4th place. Ty Majeski in the inside lane, hugging the curbing all the way through the corner, trying to get by the 2 truck now of Nick Sanchez, and he is there. The 0-2 goes around, and we have a couple trucks sliding off of turn 2. A couple of them going into the grass to miss. I don't know if anybody made severe contact. Marco Andretti spins. Thought he was going to come back across the racetrack. He did not. He locked it down on the excess pavement in between turns 3 and 4. A lot of spinning trucks that time. Matt Crafton lost the lead, meanwhile, at the front of the field. Majeski to 2nd, Crafton blocking for 3rd, trying to help his ThorSport teammates out a little bit. 3 wide dive bomb into turn 5 for Eckes, and he turned Sanchez. He went with the 3 wide move, too aggressive. He spins the 2 truck out. And remember, Sanchez was on the playoff bubble coming into the race today, only 6 points above, and he's going to lose a lot of track position from 4th all the way outside the top 20, and he's got his work cut out for him in these final 46 or so laps. Ben Rhodes has now opened up just over half a second lead over Ty Majeski quickly since this restart. Matt Crafton still in 3rd. Corey Hyman 4th now after the spin from Sanchez, and Eckes in 5th. About to be overtaken by the 22 truck of Austin Wayne Self as they'll be side by side through turns 12 and 13. Slight contact between the 19 and the 22 on the main straight headed towards turn 1. Self is still on the inside of Eckes. Going into that first turn, Eckes gets a little bit better drive in the center of the corner. He'll pull clear and hang on to 5th for now. Crafton gets overtaken as Corey Hyman moves up to P3, and Eckes now on the charge into turn 2 to the inside of the 88 for 4th place. He's got it. Austin Wayne Self will follow him, get to 5th. Crafton out of the groove in the outside lane, just trying to get as much wet on the tires as possible. And that track is mostly dry. It dried up very, very quick during that caution period. And I would not be shocked if Crafton's going to come down and take slick tires before the end of the stage, even though their plan is to stay out to the end of this second stage. We still have trucks sliding on into the grass, though, with these wet tires and still slightly damp areas of the racetracks. William Solowich went off the track. Brett Holmes also off into the grass, getting back onto the racing surface. We continue to stay green. We've seen a few spins since the restart again, as we have all throughout the course of the race today. Matt Crafton losing a few more positions in the middle of this lap. Zane Smith, Stuart Friesen going to get by him. Crafton has now fallen to 8th place. A little bit of a gap before the 9th place truck of Grant Enfinger behind him. But I don't think it'll be long before he'll get ran down, as he just does not have the right tires on the race truck at this point in the race. Surprised in that mess in that first lap following the restart. There was like 2 or 3 trucks spinning, and somehow there was no major pileup. Everybody just missed everybody somehow. Marco Andretti must have hit a slicker spot in the grass when he was trying to stand on the gas and get his way out of the grass. He ended up looping it around a couple times and falls from the back half of the top 10 all the way further back in the field. Definitely a wild restart to say the least. And another truck going around. It's Lawless Allen off turn 2. Slides into the grass. There's a little bit of pavement there for him to catch the rear tires on, try to get back going in the right direction. He is now off into the sand. There isn't much sand where he is at. He was good, and then he tried to get back onto the racing surface instead of just taking the access road back to the racetrack. Ended up going off into the sand, and now he's stuck. He's not going to be able to get out of there, and that's going to bring out our 5th caution of the day. We can chalk up another Lawless Allen caution. For those of you that haven't watched the Truck Series live commentary streams this year, it's a kind of a running gag every week that it seems like Haley Deegan and or Lawless Allen bring out a caution every week, and Lawless Allen going to bring out another one here on lap 24. His first one of the day. I saw Deegan spin earlier. She didn't bring out a caution, at least when she spun. And she is back up to the 20th place position, so she's rebounded a little bit. Matt Crafton fell back to 11th right before that caution flag came out. I think now that they're under yellow would be a good time to make the switch to slicks. There's actually contact between Allen and Crafton. Allen just kind of drove it up a little too aggressively off the exit of turn 2. Washed wide into the 88 and then spun out as a result. Crafton was able to continue on. Not a whole lot of damage on either race truck. I mean, even if Allen stayed in the grass, I think he was going to be okay. But he drove right back into the gravel trap, and he ended up getting stuck as a result of it, which forces NASCAR's hand into having to throw a caution flag for a stalled race truck. Ryan Jensen, thanks for tuning in. Robert Perko, welcome to the stream also. I'm doing great. Hopefully you are too. So again, our 5th caution of the race today. crazy one at Mid-Ohio. Started in the rain, still slightly damp in certain areas. Most of these drivers on slicks, though, just causing for there to be even more spins. Hopefully we see it getting cleaned up as far as all the carnage goes as we get later into the race, and the track just continues to dry out. Now that the sun is out, the tires are drying the race track every single time they make a lap as well. I'm surprised at how quick the track went from looking still slightly damp at the end of stage 1 to what it looked like at the start of stage 2, just during that few minute red flag period we had in between those cautions, or the caution and the restart. Taylor Gray will get the free pass in the 17 truck. He'll get back on the lead lap, which will put 32 trucks on the lead lap now. Connor Jones, Spencer Boyd still a lap down. Carson Hocevar is 2 laps down, and Colby Howard is 3 laps down. All 36 trucks still in this race that started in the O'Reilly Auto Parts 150. We will stay right here with our live commentary coverage. Once again, hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We currently have 58 likes on the stream. Still shy of the halfway mark on the race, and we're past halfway to our goal of 100 likes. So definitely, again, like and subscribe. We are about 9 laps away from the halfway point in today's race. And again, our first of 2 live commentary streams on the day. We will have a live commentary stream for tonight's NASCAR Xfinity race. That stream will start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There will be no rain in the forecast for that one. We will get the full race in without a delay. This race was delayed roughly an hour from the original start time to when we actually got this started. So if there was no rain, we'd probably be pretty close to the finish of this one by now, but waiting it out with this slightly late start. And we are here now. That's all that matters. Gary Williams, thanks for tuning in. Better to have a slightly 1 hour later start time in the day versus at night, so that way we all get to bed, normal. I mean, it'll probably a later night anyway with the Xfinity race going on. Hopefully that doesn't end up in a wreck fest. The last time they were on a super speedway at Talladega, there was a ton of wrecks. We had 2 flips in one race. Hopefully we don't see anything like that in today's race at Atlanta on that hybrid of a super speedway. Super speedway package on a 1.5 mile high banked racetrack. Ice Demon King 92 Hammer also welcome into the stream. Got just over 100 people watching now. Appreciate it, everybody. Once again, be sure to like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. I believe the lights are out on the pace truck, and they'll be going green this time by, and it looks like we'll have another single file restart coming up once again. We'll have about 14 laps to go in stage 2 yet. And it looks like the lights are on the pace truck still, so we may not be going green this time by after all. Maybe the next lap, and we'll see if they get the single file or double file restarts when the time comes. But again, I'd imagine to be single once again. Definitely some damp parts of the racetrack, especially on the inside lane and some corners down where the curbing's at is where it's really wet. So that's been the challenge on these slick tires. But most of the racetrack is dry outside of those areas, again, around the curb where there might be slight puddling still going on. No more rain in the forecast again for the rest of this race. Is all passed through. And Matt Craftsman's still on the racetrack in 11th. He has not pitted during the caution, which I was expecting him to take on slicks. Guess we'll have one more lap to try to be able to do it, but looks like that 88 team's going to stay on rain tires still, which I'm kind of surprised considering they're going to have a couple sets of slicks to be able to use. So it's not like they're going to be out of tires the rest of the race if they were to change to slicks now. Not sure. Yeah, it's not a cat. It is a dog. It's got pointy ears. It's a puppy. Sister just got it last weekend. I didn't want it, but it's neither here nor there. Craftsman is in the pits this time as expected, so it looks like he'll be making a stop.
Goers, we've seen a lot of guys fight through the field, but Phil, on the dry conditions, that's going to become more and more difficult. Plus, laps winding down, you know, you really, really need to start focusing on that track position the rest of this race.
Matt Crafton's in his box, Jamie.
Yes, and he was focused on the track position before the end of that first stage. That was everything he was telling his team. He was like, if we do this, we're giving up all track position, which in turn is giving up any chance of getting any stage points. That's what he's thinking about. Jared Prince eventually had to say, unfortunately, buddy, we're going to have to give it up. Come in, go ahead. We're going to take this one right now. They're going to have 14 laps, maybe 13 laps to make up as much ground as possible, and then do what they can do with it. Amanda?
Ahead of this pit stop, Nick Sanchez did apologize to his team for spinning, and Danny Stockman just said, just get ready to pit, bud. You see them working on the body work. The crew guy on the backside of the truck has a baseball bat in his hand. They did take a little fuel, and Nick's back on track.
All the sophistication that we have in the tools in NASCAR, but a simple baseball bat helps you out more times than not. There it is. That thing has been used to talk
Yeah, I was going to say, they bent that thing back to the task a time or two.
Looked like Otani maybe used that bat for a home run or something.
Well, after 26 laps, here's a look at our little race recap. That's what it looked like when we started.
That was a pace lap, Jamie. We hadn't even started yet.
And then we officially started. We got about halfway maybe through the first lap. Multiple spins.
Didn't even get halfway through the first lap. We got halfway through the first corner, and that was about it.
Wow.
Then we had a first pass for the lead right here. Looks like it's in slow motion.
Corey Haim gets completely sideways, and Tom Majeski drives by. Corey slides off the racetrack, fills his grill with grass, loses a couple spots.
And then the move of the race so far.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
It was so long digging through the sand, we have to speed it up to show you.
Gunned it all the way through that. Now he's on the lead lap.
Great job by him. And the end of stage one, the never-ending stage at that point. Then Rhodes picks it up, the beginning of stage two.
Right after the restart, Will Rogers, the 0-2 goes around. He forces Marco Andretti and Dale Quarterly off the racetrack. Dale keeps going. Marco gets turned around but stays on the pavement.
See the yellow rookie bumpers for Marco Andretti. It's always funny to see that, a veteran driver, but since he's from another series, and this is his first time in the truck series, he has to have the yellow bumper.
He had 5 top 10s here in a row in an Indy car, and he has a yellow bumper.
Yeah, 2-time IndyCar winner.
And one of those wins was on a road course, so don't count out Marco Andretti.
13 laps to go at stage 2, another single file restart. Ben Rhodes leads him to the green as we are back to racing. So field rumbles into turn 1. All down on that inside lane, close to the curbing. A couple trucks get washed a little bit wide after some slight contact outside the top 5. 2 trucks side by side for 4th place, working their way into turn 2. Corey Haim going to pick up the 3rd place position on Zane Smith, the defending champion, who was to his outside. A lot of trucks door to door through turn 2 this time, which we haven't seen much of today. And a big block by Corey Haim as he almost turned himself on Smith down the long straightaway, headed towards that kink in turn 3, and then the harsh braking zone in turn 4, which we have seen speeds of about 160 miles an hour, down to having to make that sharp right-handed corner. Track getting mostly dry now. You're going to start to see the speeds quicken up, especially at that fastest end of the racetrack. Majeski going for the lead on his teammate Ben Rhodes, going to get to the outside. Zane Smith working back over for 3rd, door-to-door for the lead with the ThorSport trucks at the front of the field as they drag race through the S's. Tight corners to run door-to-door like they are. No contact made. Majeski going to slip a little bit too far wide. Stays in the gas. It still stays on the door of the 99. Not going to let him in. Rhodes throws a big block. The 98 lifts to try to keep from having contact made between the 2 trucks, and as they battled side by side for a while, Zane Smith, who quickly cleared the 11.5 a lap ago, is now to the back bumper of Majeski for 2nd. Rhodes leads the first lap following the race start by about 3 car lengths at the line. Into turn 1. Rhodes slipping the rear tires just a little bit. Majeski tighter to the curbing on the inside lane into that 90-degree left-handed corner. One truck inside the top 10 looks to have damage around the right front fender. It might be Grant Enfinger in the 23, and it is. So a lot of smoke coming off from a tire rub on Enfinger's race truck, and you better be careful because he might be at risk of having that tire blow out if it continues to smoke as heavily as it has been. Still smoking his way down towards turn 4. Roger Carruth looking to make a pass. He's had an eventful day. He's gone off track a couple times, and he's still inside the top 10, currently battling for 7th with Enfinger. Majeski looking a little bit quicker than Rhodes. Rhodes seemed to be the fastest driver on the rain tires, but now on the slick tires, his teammate putting a lot of pressure on him. Majeski trying to get going, knowing Zane Smith is closing quickly behind. Smith has won the last 2 road course races for the Truck Series. He's finished in the top 2 in the last 4 races in the Truck Series on road courses. And of course, only 1 race in road race this year, and that was at Coda where Smith won. Started 3rd that day. Beat both Ross Chastain and Kyle Busch. Rhodes having a handful out of his rearview mirror, and he's an accomplished road racer in the NASCAR Truck Series as well. And a former champion himself is Rhodes. Doing a good job holding on to the lead. The clean air advantage, I'm sure, is helping. Always does on road courses. Any racetrack, really, but especially on road courses. Majeski with a much flatter line into turn 2. Opened up the center of the corner for Zane Smith to try to close the gap on him. Majeski slid the rear tires a little bit too much. Grant Enfinger's down onto pit road now as they change that right front tire after it had smoke again moments ago.
So the team right now, they had to cut off some of the fender. They're just trying to get it from rubbing on that tire. Went ahead and made the decision to top him off with fuel. This is kind of a freebie. Could they make it any further than this? We don't know because we don't know how much caution there's going to be. So playing a little bit of the strategy game, trying to preserve as much as they can.
To the back bumper of Ben Rhodes this time. Majeski again not going to be able to work his way underneath him as they go through the S's. It'll be Majeski still all over the back of the 99. Zane Smith slides his rear tires through the next corner as he lost a little ground on the top 2 trucks in front of him. Headed towards turns 11. Then into 12 and 13, the finishing corners of this 13-turn racetrack. 10 laps to go in stage 2 this time by with the top 3 under one giant blanket. If they can get around Ben Rhodes, I wonder if they can really start to pull away. Rhodes not going to want Majeski to go at all, even though he's a teammate. Once you lose one position, you may be in danger of losing even more positions. Whatever advantage he has with the clean air would be lost if that 98 truck gets around him. The truck may drive even worse than what it may be right now. Just looks like the 98 and the 38 definitely finessing their corners a lot better. So as we're close to the halfway point in the race, it looks like it'll be a commercial break on FS1, side-by-side break at that. We'll go through the full field running order as of right now. A 0.2 of a second lead for Ben Rhodes. Ty Majeski is in second. Zane Smith third. Corey Heim fourth. And Christian Eckes is fifth. Stuart Friesen at 6th. Roger Carruth 7th. Tyler Ankrum 8th. 9th is Matt DiBenedetto. And Chase Purdy is up to 10th. Dean Thompson in 11th. Daniel Dye 12th. Austin Wayne Self 13th. Haley Egan 14th. Jack Wood 15th. Tanner Gray 16th. Timmy Hill 17th. Landon Lewis 18th. Will Rogers 19th. And Nick Sanchez is 20th. Matt Mills in 21st. Marco Andretti 22nd. William Sawalich in 23rd. Jake Garcia 24th. And Matt Crafton, after just pitting late in this stage, is 25th. Connor Daly 26th. Ryan Vargas 27th. Dale Quarterly 28th. Taylor Gray 29th. And Brett Holmes is 30th. Grant Enfinger making his unscheduled stop after the green flag is the last truck in the lead lap in 31st. Lawless Allen first truck lap down 32nd. Connor Jones 33rd. Spencer Boyd 34th. Carson Hocevar 35th is 3 laps down. And then Colby Howard 10 laps down, I believe, is pulled off the racetrack. He is the only driver off the track as we speak with 9 to go in stage 2. So that's your full field rundown. Rhodes has led the most laps so far today with 19 laps led and counting, as we have had a total of 5 lead changes already in the race today as well. Stuart Friesen and Roger Carruth battling for 6th on the track. Carruth starting to work his way forward in a must-win situation if he's going to want to get into the playoffs. With just 2 races left in the regular season following this one today, Majeski looking to the inside of Ben Rhodes into turn 4. Tight. Rhodes on the door of the 98, trying to hang on as best as he can, but not in the best position to be able to stay alongside his teammate, and Ty Majeski will take over the race lead through turns 6 and 7. Majeski now out in front for the second different time today, the first in the dry conditions on the racetrack, and we'll see what he can do with it as Zane Smith now is quickly on the 99 for second. One truck off the racetrack, it looked like Marco Andretti in the 7 went off in turn 5. Lost a few positions outside the top 20. Zane Smith needs to get by Rhodes quickly so that way Majeski doesn't pull too far ahead if he's going to want a chance to try to win stage 2. 8 to go in this stage around this roughly shorter than a 2-mile road course. The fastest area of the racetrack is where we saw the most passes in last season's truck race. Mid-Ohio is sitting down in that corner towards turn 4. It's where the pass was set up, and then 2 corners later towards around turn 6 of the next right-handed turn, which would have been the inside lane at that time for Majeski's, where he finally pulled clear of Rhodes. And now he has about a half a second on the 99 truck. Down towards turn 4 again. A little later on the brakes, it seemed, from the 99 of Rhodes. Now that he's in second, he can try to attack and maybe see where Majeski was beating him. Try to find a little bit better pacing. Once again, we have one more stage caution yet to come, which will freeze the field, and there won't be live pit stops during that said caution, but there is a chance for the teams to make more adjustments one more time as they finally get their first track conditions with a green racetrack, no rubber going into this part of the run, considering we started in the wet and in the rain, and now it's finally starting to lay down a bit of rubber that the track is drier. Not as much standing water in the grass as I would have thought with all the rain that poured as well. It must not have gotten as much rain down there as what I had about an hour and a half north of where the track's at. Northwest, where Mid-Ohio is located. Seven-tenths of a second right now is where Rhodes is scored off of Majeski as of the start-finish line that last time by. I thought Zane Smith was going to be able to get by Ben Rhodes after Majeski finally got around. Not the case, and it doesn't really seem like Majeski's pulling away all that much from Ben Rhodes either. Still staying within a second of that race lead. Definitely tell Rhodes has probably changed the way he has driven that race truck. Maybe less defensive lines going into the corner. He's starting to hit his marks a little bit better. We still could get a double file restart, which we haven't seen it all yet today when we start the final stage. It could make things interesting to start that final stage of the race. Because we don't know what the choose rule would look like because we haven't seen that in play yet on this racetrack. Last year they did not have the choose rule in road course races. So would the inside or the outside lane for turn 1 be the preferred lane? If you're on the outside, I would think it would be preferred so you could be on the bottom going into that hard-braking turn 2. So once again, your top 10 as of right now is 6 to go at stage 2. Ty Majeski with a 9/10 of the second lead over Ben Rhodes. Zane Smith's 1.3 seconds back in third. Corey Heim, 4th place, 2 seconds off the lead. Christian Eckes is 6 seconds off the lead in 5th. Stuart Friesen is 7.3 back in the race lead. Tyler Ankrum now back up to 7th place is 7.7 seconds off the lead. Roger Carruth in 8th is 9 seconds back. Matt DiBenedetto in the top 10 for the first time today is 9.2 seconds off race leader Ty Majeski. And Chase Purdy rounds out the top 10 is 11 seconds off the lead. A lot of battling for position going on right around where Nick Sanchez is on the racetrack currently. Haley Deegan trying to battle Sanchez. Remember, Sanchez was back in 20th, and actually it looked like Sanchez just passed Deegan for 13th. Tanner Gray, after going wide a couple of times today in the gravel pit, also working his way back through the field. in the 15 truck as he too is trying to get by Deegan for position. Deegan had a top 10 last year at Mid-Ohio. Trying to back that up today. Decent run compared to how things were at the start. Interesting what these trucks just on the outside of the top 10 looking in may do setup-wise going into the next stage break to try to help their drivers out just a little bit more. Corey Heim pulled out of line a little late going into turn 2, trying to close on Zane Smith, and Ben Rhodes has started to charge again after Ty Majeski. The top 4 trucks all within a second and a half of the lead through turn 2, heading towards the hard-braking turn 4. Get through that slight kink where they're on throttle still. Heim pulling out, trying to make the pass on Zane Smith, who's going to widen the corner out, potentially try a crossover. Not going to be able to work, and Corey Heim's back into third. Remember, he qualified on the pole during dry conditions on track yesterday for qualifying. He was slipping backwards in the rain as far as his positions went. Fell back to about 5th or 6th, and now he is back up to third and looking to work his way further forward. Of the top 5 that last lap, Majeski had the slowest of the top 5 in the lap time category, and Heim had the fastest lap. So he may be a late contender here for the Stage 2 win as we're down to 4 to go at the start-finish line this time by. Rhodes was the second fastest that last lap, only behind Heim as well. A lot more of the curbing being used by Majeski. Slipped up off the final corner. Big run coming now by Ben Rhodes as he looks right in line behind Majeski through turn 1. May pull out a line towards turn 2 to potentially make a pass there. Tanner Gray looking to get by the 0-2 truck of Will Rogers as they make a little bit of contact with one another. Door to door through turns 12 and 13. Rogers almost up off the racetrack. Haley Deegan going to have a run at the 0-2 now going into turn 1. Deegan to the inside. And can't get the drive off on the curbing in that corner either. Rogers goes wide again, almost off racetrack, and that is the second time that allowed for Deegan to stay door to door with Rogers. Rogers was in the 6th place position at the end of stage 1 with the rain, but in the dry, not quite as good. I think he went for a spin early in stage 2 as well, which didn't help him. And he will fend off Deegan for now, and now Deegan having to fend off Austin Wayne Self for the meantime. Can Ben Rhodes get back to the race lead on Ty Majeski before the end of stage 2? It's been right there. One little mishap, and he will be there for the taking. Majeski got to the lead on Rhodes. He couldn't get away. Oh, no, the 0-2's around. Will Rogers just keeps it off the tire wall down towards turn 4. Not sure if he had contact. Deegan was battling for position. And actually, it was Austin Wayne Self. Self went in so deep into the corner, he passed the 13 and cleared out the 0-2 in front of the 13, so Will Rogers goes around. Taylor Gray's off in the grass somewhere on the racetrack as well. Tough break for him. Corey Heim looking for second, blocked by Rhodes. Rhodes staying with that sharp angle going into turn 2. It's going to be hard for him to stay on the 98 off the exit of the corner. How deep he had to drive it in, trying to play defense on the truck behind him in the 11. Rhodes trying to stay in the draft, get that momentum back up again, and we'll see if he can maybe make a pass. He's got a run going into turn 4. We'll see how late he goes into the braking zone. Majeski a half a lane lower before they get into the corner. Rhodes closes to the back bumper. Doesn't quite touch him, but he is very close. Ben Rhodes, very good corner through turn 4. He did have a slight slip up, though, in 5, and Majeski widens the gap back out by a truck length and a half or so through 5 and 6. Now into 7, into the S's, middle portion of the racetrack. And they'll have a few corners left in the closing corners leading up to 2 laps to go in stage 2 this time by. Slight mishap in turn 5 for Ben Rhodes after he had a great job carrying a lot of speed through turn 4 to close in. Lost more ground off the exit of the next corner. And all of a sudden now it's Corey Heim trying to battle the 99. If those 2 trucks battle, that could allow Majeski to get just enough clearance to be able to win this stage. Rhodes going to have to get that momentum back. He's 3 to 4 truck lengths off of the race leader at the start-finish line. And Zane Smith, who was in that battle, is starting to slip behind. He's not quite able to keep up with the top 3. Christian Eck is back in fifth, is 5.2 seconds off the lead still. Ben Rhodes went wide in turn 1. Corey Heim to the inside, trying to clear him going into turn 2. Rhodes going to side draft him on the inside lane. Rhodes holds the curbing down. The 11 going to hold the 99 tightly. A lot of contact being made between those two trucks per second. This is what Majeski needs at the front. Still door-to-door as they drag race now down the long stretch heading towards turn 4. Hard-braking corner. Ben Rhodes was really good the last lap in this corner. Who is going to be able to make their way through? Rhodes will have the positioning on the inside. Corey Heim on the top, got to get a better drive off, but now he'll be pinched to the bottom into turn 5. Rhodes not giving him a lot of room. Heim is going to make his own room as they make slight contact again. You got to think big picture here. These guys still have another stage left after this. They don't want to bang the fenders off of it, battling for second right now, but this has definitely allowed Majeski to open up a lead, and Corey Heim is cleared for second. Zane Smith now in the battle for Ben Rhodes with third, as Majeski's got about a second or so over Heim. Heim has a lap and a half to try to catch Majeski, maybe even just less than that. 27 laps will be the distance in the final stage today. By the time they go green, will probably be right around 25 laps to go in that second stage. 1 lap to go as of right now in stage 2. Ty Majeski with a 1.5 second lead. Stuart Friesen and Tyler Ankrum battling for 6th. Friesen making the pass on Ankrum that last lap. Friesen 6 points to the negative coming into the race today on Sanchez. He got outscored by 7 points in stage 1, but Sanchez, after that spin early in stage 2, is not going to get stage points here, so if Friesen can finish 6th and hold Ankrum off, that'll be 5 points, and that means he'll have only a net loss of 1 point on Sanchez through the first 2 stages combined today. And having that positioning ahead of him going into the final stage, there could be a chance that Friesen can close that gap by the end of this race ever so slightly, maybe even trying to move himself above the cutoff line. If he could hold court with where he's staying, although Ankrum pretty deep into turn 4, making contact with Friesen, using him up a little bit. Friesen trying to hang on for this position. He really needs these points. Gotta hope that the 16 doesn't make a mistake and take him out, though. Ankrum off the curbing, still door-to-door for the position, and Friesen trying to hang on desperately. Thought about pinching off the 16. A lot of contact there. Friesen gets washed up out of the groove just a little bit. And they've got about 4 more turns left to the end of the stage. At the front of the field, it'll be Ty Majeski getting the Stage 2 win. And this will be the second stage win of the season for Ty Majeski. Friesen going to hold on. DiBenedetto had contact with Ankrum. That opens the door up for Carruth in the final couple corners. DiBenedetto slides underneath Carruth as they drag race back to the line. Carruth holds the 8th place position, so DiBenedetto lost a spot there in those last couple corners, and Friesen did hang on in front of Ankrum. Tight battle there in the back half of the top 10 between positions 6 and 9. Ty Majeski wins Stage 2. Again, his second stage win of the year after his teammate Ben Rhodes got his first stage win of the year, winning Stage 1. The Thorsport trucks set the pace early at their home track and trying to get the win here today. They won at the majority of the field's home track at Charlotte when Ben Rhodes won that race earlier this year. Now they're trying to win at their own home track here this race today. Corey Heim ends up second at Stage 2. Behind him, Ben Rhodes third, Zane Smith fourth, Christian Eck is fifth, Stuart Friesen sixth, Tyler Ankrum seventh, Roger Carruth eighth, Matt DiBenedetto ninth, and Chase Purdy rounds out the top 10. That is your Stage 2 results for this race. We've got about 113 people watching. 70 people have hit the like button so far, so we're 30 likes away from our goal of 100 today. Be sure to hit that like button. We have more than that many people watching right now, and we'll try to get to that goal before the end of this race. Robbie Crawford, thanks for tuning in. Gwendolyn Mecklenburg, thanks for tuning in. Deegan was 14th at the end of the stage. God Rides a Harley, thanks for tuning in. I don't know if I shouted you out earlier. I saw you in the chat, though, before the start of Stage 2, or at least that last restart, whenever it was. Any special talks? If you're talking about interviews, yeah, we'll get one from the race winner. They're definitely going past their scheduled airtime with that 1 hour rain delay at the start, so we might only get an interview from the race winner, but whatever interviews we get, you guys will get to listen in post-race. I don't usually have as long of a post-race show for the truck or Xfinity races, but whatever interviews we get leading up to that first commercial break. Following the checkered flag of the race, you guys will get to listen in. This is our 7th caution of the race today. We only had 1 incident for caution in stage 2. I should say this is the 6th caution of the race, my bad. Forgot the 4th yellow led into the last stage. So this is caution number 6 on the race. 27 to go. We'll be in a red flag scenario, and we will have pit stops as soon as they come back from the break, and you guys, again, will get to listen in. Confrontations. Not as of what we've seen so far in the race. That's to be determined. We haven't seen anybody just clean somebody out in the race at this point, so I would hope that that doesn't happen. Again, a 3-minute period for teams to change tires. As well as top off on fuel, because a lot of these teams use Truck Series crew member, or a lot of the Truck and Xfinity teams use Cup Series crew members. With this being a standalone truck event in the Cup and Xfinity Series in Atlanta, a lot of these teams are down numbers on crew for this weekend. So not having the full teams here for the Truck Series, that is why we are having the cautions during the stage breaks on road courses today, where we wouldn't see that this season on the road course races for any series where the Cup Series is in town. Field is on their way in, and we will have those stops.
Our race is going a little long today.
We still got a lot of racing to go, a lot of action left as well. We've seen just incredible side-by-side racing here at Mid-Ohio.
27 laps to go. Just a reminder, these are the modified pit stops. So they'll have 3 minutes to make adjustments, take fuel, take tires, and as you see, the officials telling everybody to wait until every truck is parked.
Now this will be the last tire change. Remember now, they were not able to go from dry to dry anytime other at the stage break. So this is the last time these drivers will be able to put tires on. If they have a damaged tire, flat tire, then they can replace it one at a time, but not any more Ford tires for these guys, Jamie.
And Corey Heim is at the lead of pit lane, also at the lead of the field, as crew chief Scott Zipadelli said that one of their biggest strengths in this race and these conditions that are ever changing is the fact that their driver, Corey Heim, behind the wheel is smart. He said he uses his brain. He doesn't make unnecessary risk. As far as changes to this truck go, he said obviously we need a fresh set of these Goodyear tires to get us to the end. They're going to top them off with fuel, but they want to keep the truck pretty much as it is. It was fast yesterday. It's been fast so far today, so they're pretty happy with what they have. I want to go back to Ty Majeski in that number 98 machine. His crew chief, Joe Shear Jr. telling me that the truck's not perfect right now. He said, by no means do we love the setup that we have, but he said, we also can't fix it, so he's not going to mess with it. He said, it's going to be racy. It's something that's working for Ty right now, and they're still going for that first win, so they don't want to give him anything that's unknown. Amanda?
Yesterday's ARCA winner started 13th on the track, all the way up to 7th now. He is making adjustments to this truck. Came in saying that this is wicked tight. I need it to turn, guys. You see 4 slicks going onto that tire and some fuel, but man, battling him to the end of the stage there was the 52 of Stuart Friesen. And not only is he battling for those stage points, he's battling for a place in this playoff. He's popped himself all the way to the 9th in points after coming in at 11.
Well, I would have called them fool. They said the 98 is not perfect. It certainly looked like it there. She was fast.
I think they're a little bit worried about that 11 of Corey Heim.
Oh, look at those good Great Danes.
Mm-hmm. Majestic.
Majestic. It's a great day to be a fan, hanging out. Now, especially that it's dry. Our director, Roger, knows.
That one's resting.
I'm a dog person, yes. He's like, man, it's been a long day. Been out here in the rain.
I'm a dog person and a truck person. You put a dog in the back of a truck, that just feels good.
You got it all here. pit stops wrapping up. The kids, we got one napping and one just waiting for the action. More action from them.
All right. So we are under the stage 2 break. Red flag will be lifted here shortly, and we'll get back to racing and begin the final stage. Ty Majeski, currently the race leader after leading stage 2. Nobody stayed out. Everybody had to come in to make sure they topped off on fuel to make it to the end of the race. There will be no more pit stops the rest of the way. Scheduled, at least, obviously. We could end up seeing drivers hit pit road if they have any sort of damage between now and the end of the race of any kind, whether that be to a tire or the actual race trucks, but no scheduled pit stops the rest of the way. Because we're during the stage 2 break, every live commentary stream during the stage 2 ends during the Truck Xfinity Cup Series races. I give off, or at least show, some of my diecast collection. So today, one I've already shown before on the channel. We've got a Johnny Sauter, number 30 AOL car, and this was the 2004, I believe, car that Johnny Sauter drove in the NASCAR Cup Series. I chose this, of course, a longtime driver in the Truck Series. A handful of wins. I think he might even be top 10 on the all-time win list in the Truck Series. So one of the better truck drivers over the years. I don't think he ever won a championship, but here is his Cup ride. I always liked the AOL cars, whether it was him driving this car. This scheme I like in particular, maybe a little more than the Steve Park or Jeff Green number 30 AOL car that drove this scheme in this car before him, but definitely one that I liked. One of many RCR cars I have, but yeah, I really like this one. So that's why I was going to show this off today for our Stage 2 diecast showing. Risky Devil, thanks for tuning in. We will take a quick break here before we get back into the action for Stage 3. You're listening live, KRC, YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe again for more daily NASCAR content. And we'll take you to the end of our first of 2 live commentary streams of the day. In case I didn't show the top of the car with my terrible camera angles, here's another look. I like the detail of the tires too. You can see the sticker on the tires for the sticker slick tires. It's kind of cool. Very little detail they have. Not little, but every little detail, I should say, that they have. There's inside the tailgate of the race car, underneath it. Does the hood pop open on this one? I would imagine it does. If the tailgate opens, the hood's got to open. Gonna look at what the die-cast engine looks like on this one. It's kind of cool that it changes like from car to car too. This is on the Gen 4, obviously. I don't know how well you guys can see that. Put it right up on the camera. Alrighty. Lights are out on the pace truck. They'll be going green this time by. And it will be another single file restart, I do believe. Actually, maybe double.
Yeah,
I think.
turn one's a left-hander.
Yeah, double file restart.
Yeah, two's a right. So you got to clear them in one to take advantage of that lane.
So our first double file restart of the race coming up.
This is going to be fun.
So the 2 up front, Ty Majeski, and actually his teammate Ben Rhodes is in 3rd in the 99. They've combined and led the most laps so far today. Ben Rhodes with 19, Ty Majeski's led 16, Corey Heim has led 4, and Matt Crafton has led 1 lap. Matt Crafton, by the way, up to 16th. Here we go. This is going to be fun. First time today.
First double file restart will come with 26 laps to go. Finally, a completely dry racetrack. As we start the final stage, Majeski has the inside lane, leads the field to the green. Corey Heim on the outside of the front row as they go towards turn 1. Majeski gonna pull clear. Nope. Yes. Okay. I'm hold on for a lot of the corner. I think Roger Caruth goes off with a spin. No, it is the 43. Never mind. It was the other light powdered blue race truck. Daniel Dye ends up going for a spin in turn 1. Field rumbles on into turn 2. He's going to lose a lot of positions. Dye was just outside the top 10 at the end of the last stage, and now they're side by side for the lead off turn 2. Corey Heim looking to the inside of Ty Majeski for the race lead. Ben Rhodes right behind both race trucks as he looks to the inside behind the 11. How deep will Majeski be able to go in the outside lane? Not deep at all. Corey Heim is clear. Majeski with the crossover move. Rhodes is going to get underneath him. Contact with the Thor Sport trucks for second. Heim's going to get away. Door to door for second now between Majeski and Rhodes. And also side by side behind them still as they enter into the assist between Zane Smith and Christian Eckes as they battle for fourth on the track. They slam side by side. A lot of contact between the 19 and the 38, and Zane Smith is going to be able to pull clear for fourth. Eckes going to get back alongside Smith again, it looks like. Nope, he's going to have to duck back in line behind him. Thought for a minute he might have had a second chance to get by Zane Smith. That was not the case, at least that time around. Playoff bubble as we run. Sanchez is 7 points ahead of Matt Crafton. Crafton's got a lot of spots he can gain, though, still in 16th. Same goes for Sanchez, who moves into 10th after the race start. Crafton to the inside of Roger Caruth off turn 1. Couple trucks going way wide, almost off into the grass off turn 1 again. Caruth with a big block as he cuts down to the inside before making his way to turn 2. Sanchez going to try to pick up a spot, it looks like, on the 4 truck. Chase Purdy, meanwhile, at the front of the field for second, door to door. Headed towards turn 4 again. Majeski with an aggressive side draft on that left rear corner panel of Ben Rhodes' race truck. Rhodes needs to get by Majeski quickly if he's going to want a chance to catch Corey Heim. Rhodes is pretty good on the short run on the slick tires in the last stage. Oh no, they got into one another. Just keeping it off the tire wall, but then against the concrete wall goes Ben Rhodes in turn 5. Ty Majeski gets into the back of the 99. Both Thor Sport trucks go off into the grass, and now it looks like Zane Smith is up to second. And Corey Heim's lead has grown exponentially following the spin. The teammates get into one another. A lot of damage on the right front fender as well on Majeski's race truck. He may have to come to pit road. Majeski hadn't won all season, makes a big mistake. His right front tire's flat. He's trying to get to pit road. He can't get the truck to turn. Timmy Hill almost gets ran off the track now. Right front is flat after contact between the ThorSport teammates at their home track, going for second place with 24 laps to go. Majeski a little too hard, gets into the 99. 99 actually kind of looked like Rhodes pinched off Majeski. Looking at it, it looked like the 99 might have squeezed the 98. There wasn't much room for the 98 to go more left. It definitely looked like the 99 pinched the 98 quite a bit. I'd probably put a slightly more fault on Ben Rhodes there than Ty Majeski, but still a racing deal where two teammates probably should not have been that aggressive with one another. In a battle for second where if they could have gotten single file, they might have still had a chance at Corey Heim. Now neither one is going to have a chance. And the highest ThorSport truck now in the field is Matt Crafton in 9th. Haley Deegan in 12th. After Majeski and Rhodes had ran top 3 all day. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting Monday morning meeting. That's for sure. At their home track of all tracks to have that take place. Racing on track continues as we stay green through all of that. Corey Heim has a 1.2 second lead over Zane Smith, who's going to try to run him down. Smith trying to go for 5 consecutive top 2 finishes on road courses in the Truck Series as he's now up to P2. Matt DiBenedetto battling for Tyler Ankrum as they are looking for 5th place right now. And DiBenedetto with a major block on Nick Sanchez. Sanchez going to get to the outside of the 25. Surprised he ran in as deep as he did through the corner. DiBenedetto going to hold very solidly. Matt Crafton's picked up a lot of positions from the race start. He's gone from 16th to 9th. Make that 8th. Just past Chase Purdy that last lap, and now all of a sudden Crafton's only 1 point behind Nick Sanchez in the standings, and Sanchez is just 1 position ahead of him. That pass would be the swing to get Crafton above the cutoff line if he could pass the 2. 23 laps still to go. Plenty of time in this race for him to catch him. A lot of battling still going on in the top 10 now between Roger Caruth and Chase Purdy for 10th. 9th and 10th place on the racetrack. Caruth has got the spot for now. We'll see if he can pull away from the 4. Grant Enfinger has been right around 11th most of the day, is just behind him. Haley Deegan trying to get by the 15 truck of Tanner Gray, who really pinched Deegan off quite a bit that time. Deegan gets a little squirrely off the exit of turn 8, I believe. And we do have a truck off track in the gravel pit. It would be the 51 of Jack Wood. He is stuck. Can't tell which part of the racetrack he is on. If I had to guess, it actually looks like it's right around turn 7, maybe. I think Jack Wood off in turn 7. And we are under caution. And one truck just spun right as the caution was coming out in turn 1, and it was the 02 of Will Rogers. And now he's stuck, so we're going to have to get a truck out of turn 1 and turn 7. 22 laps to go. Caution flags out for the 8th time today at Mid-Ohio. Couple of beach trucks in the sand.
IndyCar Simon Pagenaud.
He was by himself, looked like. Just trying to negotiate turn 1. Got away from him. Well, don't look now, but Matt Crafton's being shown in the 8th position, guys.
Yeah, he was about to drive up on that battle for 5th. Fast is Matt Crafton today. We talked about it early, he made his way to the front in a hurry, spun around a couple times, lost his track position when strategy went awry, but now he's in position to get this thing done.
Well, we just mentioned the sand traps. They are there for a reason, not just to get people stuck, but to, in moments like this. Last weekend, Simon Pagenaud. Look at the momentum, the force, the speed.
One of the most unbelievable things that I've seen here lately.
But you're right, Jamie, that sand, that gravel, it just takes that momentum away every time it hits and digs into it, and that's why it's there.
That would have been so much worse without that gravel. Watch this onboard.
This is it literally is unbelievable. Thank goodness for the tethers on the wheels, the halo, and there he is walking away. Simon Pagenaud able to walk away. He was not cleared to race on Sunday, and it was Connor Daly who got the call and raced that car for Meyer Shank Racing.
Obviously, fortunately, most people don't get turned over in their lives, whether it be a street car or whatever, but I know Michael and I both have, and the flipping is not really the bad thing, it's the landing. And every time that we saw and heard Simon's car land 3 or 4 times during those flips, and that's what hurts.
I remember I flipped over at Daytona one day in the Busch car, and it flipped and it flipped and it flipped, and I was hanging on, and it wasn't hurting like you said, but I'm like, okay, I get the point. We can stop flipping over now. It just seemed like it was never going to stop. Those things are scary when you're in the middle of them, and it's nice to be able to look back and see Simon walk off like he did.
Mm-hmm. And that sand is like 6 to 8 inches deep as they try to pull out Will Rogers, who was having a great day.
All day long. Fast.
Christian Eck is doing a nice job today, running 3rd. What does his crew chief have to say, Amanda?
Jamie, I'm with Charles Denike, as you said. Christian Eck is crew chief, and I talked to Christian ahead of this race, and he was saying that he thinks that the 11 and him are the best trucks out here this season. He's going to have a shot at it on this restart. Does the truck have it?
Yep, here we are, the 11, the 38, and the 19. The Napa Auto Care Gates Hydraulic Chevrolet is really good. Christian's doing a great job. We got a little bit of damage patched up there on that last stop, and long run pace is really good. 21 laps to go here, and we were as fast as anybody at the end of that second stage. So I think it's us and the 2 in front to the end of the race here, hopefully.
When he was talking about racing in the rain, he also said that I'm terrible at it. How did you talk him through that first stage?
Well, we survived. I've got 2 really good spotters out there that coach him a lot. Brett Anderson and Michael Self done a great job helping him figure out how to get through the rain, and we just needed to maintain and get to the sun, and that's what we did.
Thank you, Charles. Thank you. Jamie?
Charles Denike, well spoken. Thanks for the little insight there on how their day has been. And
got that.
They made it out.
Yeah. Michael Self is a former ARCA champion, and again, road racer. That was his background. Michael Self is a great road racer. He's a good one to have on the radio with Christian.
I think he's actually an instructor, a driving instructor.
Yes, yeah.
So yes, he wasn't kidding when he said he's got a good spotter up there. He's got a couple of good ones. Here's Jack Wood stopped on the track. Last restart. Gotta love Daniel Dye. Brings us the great action.
All right, so just over 100 people still watching. Appreciate everybody that has stayed through our live commentary coverage of today's NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, the running of the O'Reilly Auto Parts 150. We are down to just 20 laps to go. Corey Heim is currently the race leader as we're under caution for the 8th time in the race. Heim started on the pole, and this is the first time he's led during the dry track conditions after the rain started the race started in the rain, I should say, and got completely dry by pretty much middle of stage 2, and now here we are in the final stage and continuing on through what has been a wild and wacky race as far as all the spins and incidences we have seen around this racetrack, both in the wet and now still in the dry conditions, with drivers just overstepping their boundaries just a little bit too much from time to time. Quick rundown of the top 5 leading up to this next restart. Corey Heim is the race leader. Zane Smith is in 2nd. Kushnek is 3rd. Stuart Freeze in 4th. And Tyler Ankrum is in 5th place as we run. Thor Sport emulated Venturini, unfortunately, yeah. Fortunately. NASCAR Fan 05, thanks for tuning in also. Willy Wonka, thanks for tuning into the stream. The race is on Fox Sports 1. Xfinity qualifying and Cup Series coverage this weekend on USA Network. So Truck Series is still being covered by Fox for the rest of the year, and then the NBC coverage / USA coverage will be for the Xfinity and Cup Series the rest of the season. But during the current TV contract, Fox has had the rights to all the Truck Series races all season since, 2015? That's when they started their full coverage. Start of the season to end of season.
It was raining, now it's beautiful and dry. How about some more action? What turn 4? There's no turn 4 in Pocono. That's where we're headed next in just 2 weeks.
Love Pocono. Boy, these trucks put on a great show there. The draft is so important at Pocono. 2 really, really long straightaways.
The tricky triangle. Chandler Smith got that win last year, so I would assume KBM's going to be pretty good.
That should be pretty good, yeah. They got a good driver, too.
By the way, yeah, Kyle Busch.
Yeah.
He'll be back behind the wheel.
Let's choose it up here, Jamie.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Not a whole lot of movement last time.
So many fun runs to talk about. I mean, we knew how fast Corey was going to be, especially when it dried out because of the way he ran yesterday. And he's proven to be the class of the field, but right on his heels, nipping at him. Several fast trucks.
But how about the 2 ThorSport trucks that we had battling up for the lead for most of this race? The 99 of Ben Rhodes, the 98 of Majeski. No longer in contention, but there's their ThorSport teammate, Matt Crafton. Yeah, he was the only guy on wet tires and had to give up that track position, and now he's getting it back here, top 10.
Looks like he's been running over Eldora in this part of the country.
And 19 laps to go in the restart, double file restart for the 2nd consecutive time. Corey Heim leads the field down towards turn 1. A lot of shaking and baking going on in that first turn, further back in the pack. Hopefully all trucks are able to keep on the racetrack through the first turn. It looks like they are. Now down towards turn 2. Stuart Friesen going to pull out a line, and he's going to go 3 wide for second place. No, he ducks back in behind Zane Smith instead and stays door-to-door with Christian Eckes for third. Through the keyhole in turn 2. Couple drivers 3 wide as they were back towards the middle of the pack more. Matt Crafton trying to get some spots on the restart. Got by Nick Sanchez for 7th, and he's side-by-side right now with Raja Caruth for 6th. Rather, Matt DiBenedetto for 6th. And Crafton has got it. Matt Crafton working his way through the field. I don't know if he's ever won on a road course in the Truck Series before, but he is working his way forward and making a lot of ground all of a sudden in the late going to this race, and has the best shot of any of the Thor Sport trucks as of right now to try to get a win, but he's still got a lot of spots yet to gain, and one of the faster trucks in the field, Corey Heim, is still out in front. Zane Smith was able to stay in second place. He's very close behind Corey Heim through these first few corners off of this lap again. Grant Edfinger, Raja Caruth also side by side as they battle for 9th on the racetrack. A lot of tire smoke out of the Ford truck of Chase Purdy. Locking up those tires a bit. A lot of contact between Caruth and Edfinger. It's a battle through corner after corner. Tightest area of the racetrack to run side by side through turns 11, 12, and 13, but they held it all the way through. Caruth deep into turn 1 now. Left side tires down on the curbing. Bit of a power slide on the inside as he tries to keep it off the 23. And they'll still be door-to-door down towards turn 2. Ankrum looking to the inside of Stuart Friesen. Another truck stuck in a gravel pit. Looks like Brett Holmes in the 32 is beached. And that might end up bringing out yet another caution, and it does. So with 18 laps to go, caution flag is out. And we will have another restart coming up. And it's down towards turn 7 again. Same spot where we ended up seeing the last caution take place with the 51 truck of Jack Wood, who was stuck in the sand.
Yes. Well, on an oval, your spotter's right there and can see the choose and can help you with that. And here, not everybody has another spotter.
I was talking to one of the teams that actually has a spotter just in this area for the choose area.
Have you seen him spin yet?
No.
Well, maybe that's a good move.
Yeah, exactly.
There's the spotters, or some of them. They're scattered everywhere.
Yeah, it's over by China Beach.
Because if you're an aspiring spotter, this is a good place to call up the team and say, hey, I volunteer. Because all the professional guys that do it every Sunday are down in Atlanta, so a little bit different for these.
There's a few of those guys there that aren't doing the Saturday race. They'll actually fly home tonight and then fly to Atlanta in the morning for the Cup race tomorrow.
It's a busy couple of days for those spotters.
I mean, Coleman Presley's here, Josh Williams, Zane Smith spotter, Ryan Blaney's normal spotter are here.
And a great golfer, too.
Josh Williams is pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
Me either.
Me and Phil are we're the worst avid golfers you ever met, and we're proud to admit it.
We love it, and it's just not very good.
This has been quite the day for Matt Crafton. I don't think those positions really tell the story, because he was up in the top 10 and then back to the outside the top 20 and just back and forth. Then the strategy really didn't play out the way they thought it would, but yet he's battled his way back inside the top 10.
Jamie, what's J-Rod, his crew chief, thinking right now?
Well, if you look back at just that last restart that we had, Matt Crafton was down in 8th. Now he's moved himself up to 6th, what has put him in the 10th position in terms of playoff points right now, 1 point ahead of Stuart Friesen. We're in the closing stages of this race. What do you say to Crafton to make sure everything stays calm and you get to that checkered flag?
I actually just told him to be on defense a little bit here. You know he's racing up front with some good guys, but they're all blocking and being pretty aggressive. So we just need to have a good point stay, come out here with a top 5 finish.
Made something of nothing today, you guys. We'll see how it plays out.
Well, and Jamie, every point counts as you look at as they run right now. Matt Crafton is out on the cutoff. He's in 10th by 1 point over Stuart Friesen, so they got to keep him calm.
Somebody's going to get spun out. Somebody's going to get their feelings hurt. There's just no way around it. You see how tight things are here at this short track of a road course, and there's just too many opportunities to try to squeeze inside a guy, and that guy try to squeeze you off, and you just don't take it.
That's why the trucks don't run Watkins Glen, but I used to say Watkins Glen was a super speedway of road courses. This is a short track of road courses.
I'm waiting for Zane Smith to get up there and take the lead. We haven't seen it yet today. up 26 spots since the start of the race, but Stuart Friesen gets the trophy for most positions gained from the start of the race, and that's 31.
See, Will Rogers, the 02, is going to get the free pass. You see him going by our leader, who will go by the pace truck to catch up with the back of the field.
And Carson Hocevar talked about the day he's had, probably one of the worst days that he's had this season, but he's still on the track. He was down 2 laps at one point, took the wave around, got the free pass. Now he's shown in the 26th spot. Amanda, what are you hearing on Landon Lewis making his Truck Series debut today?
Yeah, take a look at that 04 running in the top 15. I talked to him prior to the race, and he said this was just going to be a learning day for him, and boy, was it. I can't wait to hear how Landon talks about his first Craftsman Trucks race. But we showed him alongside Ron Hornaday yesterday, talking him through. He's a mentor to Landon Lewis, and when I talked to Ron earlier, he kind of chuckled and said, Amanda, I've been trending overnight comparing Landon to Jimmy Johnson and Kevin Harvick, but I believe in this kid. He has immense drive and willpower, and I'm sure Ron's going to have just a lot of praise to Landon after this race.
Are those pink headsets?
What about Ron Hornaday talking about getting trending?
I like that.
Wasn't sure you'd know what that meant.
What a great mentor, though. He believes so highly, as Amanda said, in this kid. Such a nice kid.
I tell you what, and he's made a believer of me, Phil, because he's been solid in this truck and just goes out and does a nice job. Just like Ron Hornaday said, he's very much a student of the game and has made some great gains during the race today.
He won on the road course earlier this year in the West Series. As a matter of fact, his first 4 races in the West Series this year, he finished second, and first.
Wow.
Pretty consistent.
17-year-old out of Ocean Isle Beach, North Carolina, in the 14th spot. Great day for him. So 16 laps to go. Corey Heim has led 14 laps and continues to lead here with Zane Smith next to him, Christian Eckes, Stuart Friesen. Tyler Ankrum, what does he have for the boys in the closing laps?
We know he knows how to get it done on the road course. We saw him do it yesterday.
There's that number 16 truck. Just thinking, how can I get past 4 more trucks and do just what I did yesterday?
There he is earlier in the race, taking the lead from the 15, and then just runs off the racetrack on a restart in turn 1. He said he thought he'd given it up. Then he goes here to grab the lead back from Dean Thompson,
and then drove away.
Drove off to victory.
See the margin of victory there. Great run by Tyler Ankrum.
Big key there when he got in the sand trap, drove right through it. There's that pup. That's his sister's pup. Those are the best kind of Victory Lane pictures.
He's pup sitting.
It's pup sitting. And he's at the racetrack. That's pretty cool.
Could he go back to back?
Well, it'd be big for his season. You know, it's been an up and down season, but in this format, you win and you're in.
That's right. Phil has done a great job of tracking, as we love to do here at Fox NASCAR, that bubble battle. And, you know, there's 4 or 5 guys that are just right there, but Ankrum has the speed to jump up and win a race. And all of a sudden, some guy that thinks maybe he's just going to point his way in, not going to happen now.
They're choosing. It's Corey Heim, Zane Smith on the front row. This ought to be a good battle.
See that bright yellow truck? That's Matt Crafton. Been a great day for Matt. He's lined up on row 3.
Talked about the playoffs, 2 more races after this. So the end of July will be the Richmond race, where we'll lock in those top 10 who will go for the championship. And then we'll have 10 drivers, 7 races.
Here we go again.
15 laps to go. Green flag back in the air for Corey Heim and Zane Smith on the front row. Heim again on the inside trying to clear, and he's easily clear well before getting into the braking zone in turn 1. Christian Eckes trying to get the second past Zane Smith, who might have been sleeping a little bit on that last restart. Matt Crafton very tightly in line behind the 52 truck of Stuart Friesen, all over the back bumper of him. Looking to back up the corner into turn 2. Friesen got in hot. He gets into the back of the 38 truck. He moves him out of the way. And Stuart Friesen's now going for second after getting by the 19. And it looks like Zane Smith is actually going to hold on to second through turn 3. Heading down towards turn 4. Friesen still on the inside of the 19 truck after getting into the back of the 38. Eckes is going to be able to hold on. Tyler Ankrum, Matt Crafton still door-to-door. Friesen gets ran into now by Ankrum going into turn 5 as Ankrum's trying to squeeze in to get to 4th place himself. Friesen widens out his line quite a bit, which may have messed the 16 up just a little bit and jackknifed the 88 in the process. Everybody staying on the racetrack through these first half, really the first half of a lap, as they try to file themselves out from a double file restart. First of just a couple of them here today, all in the final stage. Front of the field, it's Corey Heim and Zane Smith, 1-2. Smith trying to put the charge on Corey Heim. Zane really closed in quite a bit in the second half of that last lap. We are down to just 14 laps to go.
Big advantage yesterday in qualifying for that 11 truck, and when the race started under wet conditions, we didn't see this kind of speed, but ever since we went to slicks and the track's dried out, he's been the class of the field again.
How about 3 wide? Grant Enfinger, the 23 to the inside, makes it work.
Beautiful orange JBL Toyota right there. That's Tanner Gray. He was down a lap at one point, drove all the way through the beach at one point, and now he just found himself in the 10th spot.
On the outside there of that side-by-side battle on the top of the screen, that's Connor Daly. He's making some progress here late.
Yes, and Tanner Gray's done a great job of putting his head down after the troubles that they had early on. He told me before this race started that they really just needed to clean it up a little bit. They've had too many mistakes over the last several races. They said we need to put ourselves in better positions, just be a little bit smarter. His crew chief, Jermaine Donnelly, told him during that last stint, he said, you can't do anything if you don't keep the truck on the racetrack. So Tanner put his head down, and he's done just that. He's making up ground now.
What about making up ground, Phil? Ben Rhodes right on the tailgate of Gray. He's got a really fast 99 truck. We've seen that all day. Had that run-in with his teammate, but look how much faster he is than Gray right there as he tries to get to the inside.
Trying to grab that 10th spot. Move up another position.
Ben Rhodes, he's led the most laps today, 19, and he slipped back, I believe, to 22nd. And as you just mentioned, making hay now, back trying to get in that 10th spot. He's trying to pick up 9th spot now.
We know how good that truck is and has been, and he's showing it right now.
Raja trying to squeeze a spot away from Gray.
Teammate Grant Enfinger for Raja right behind him at 23.
Haley Deegan, I've talked about her a few times today. She's just got a lot of speed, trying to crack the top 10. Been really close to it all day long.
10th here last year, right?
Yes.
Best road course finish ever for a female in the series.
You know, that's fun when you got a little bit of gap like that, Phil. Connor Daly's 10-12 truck links. Oh, she cops her, and out goes the Gray truck.
Raja Karuth gets into the 15. Can he drive through the sand again?
Oh, he's trying to keep it moving.
I gotta say, I'm so much pulling for him.
He's doing a nice job of keeping the wheels straight. He's going to do it. He's going to do it again.
How does he do that? Yes, he was a drag racer.
And nobody better off the line than Tanner Gray.
Well done.
Now if he could just
He's
hit the
taking
brakes,
some of it with him.
get all that gravel off his nose, or he'll have to come to pit road. Should fall off, right, Phil?
Yeah, a lot of it's falling off right now. You can see it. There's a little bit of you can see a little bit of an opening there for air.
Did he get squeezed?
He got squeezed completely off the track right here. Look at Raja. Raja actually took his line completely away.
Caution is out.
Oh, man. I'm having fun watching this green flag racing.
The 0-2, Will Rogers off the course. The 22 back in the field for the first time this season. That's Austin Self.
heard on that last caution flag that the 22 was penalized for speeding. We saw him battling up in and around the top 10 earlier in the race, but had to restart towards the tail of the field on this last restart after the last caution, and unfortunately somehow he and Will Rogers have gotten together with a 0-2.
That's on to the track crew.
They've been busy.
They've been busy the last 2 days for sure.
He's
been busy too.
Maybe a break for Gray. Come in, get that grill cleaned off.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure, because he's just about falling to the back of the lead lap truck, so nothing to lose for Tanner to come to pit road.
So let's see what happened here. Way back there in the distance. There it is, the start of it.
Looked like the 22 just drove into the side of the 0-2. Now, there could have been something that happened that precipitated that.
Maybe the 0-2 didn't know the 22 was in there.
Could have pinched him.
Turned in and pinched him.
Yeah.
It's just a little far away for me to tell.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting Self's truck pulled out there pretty quickly. They'll have to dig a little deeper to get Will Rogers from the sand.
Tyler Ankrum has done a heck of a job today, running 5th right now, Amanda.
With his crew chief Doug Randolph, and it's really win or bust for Tyler's chance in the playoff. He comes from the win yesterday, said he was going to go for it today. In terms of doubling up, are you just going to let the reins off of the 16?
Oh yeah, he's doing all he can out there, struggling with a little bit of a tight truck right now, but he knows obviously from yesterday what it takes to win, and he's going for it today.
Jamie?
For Zane Smith, he started this race off in that 28th position with that transmission issue yesterday. Chris Lawson, the crew chief, you guys have been working on it all day. He's been able to drive all the way up into second, but he's not happy right now. What do you guys have for Corey Heim in that number 11?
I honestly don't think enough. So it's just going to be on Zane if he can dig down deep and make it happen right here. Maybe a good restart. Corey makes a mistake or something. I think that's going to be about that. All we got for him.
It's going to be all up to Zane, he said. But remember that smile on Zane's face. He loves road racing, Jamie.
That's right, Jamie. We talked about it. He grew up road course racing, and when he knows that this one was coming up, he's been smiling all week. We'll see what he can do with it. Well, Corey Heim, Zane Smith are leading. I'm hungry. It's been a long day. Let's run out and get us some burgers. We'll be back from Mid-Ohio.
All right, so we are under caution as of right now for the 9th time today. Currently 11 laps to go. Corey Heim is your race leader under the yellow flag conditions. Take a quick rundown of the full field order with 11 to go as of right now. Corey Heim leads, Zane Smith second, Christian Eckes is third, Stuart Friesen fourth, Tyler Ankrum in 5th place, Matt Crafton in 6th, Nick Sanchez 7th, Chase Purdy 8th, Matt DiBenedetto 9th, Ben Rhodes 10th, Raja Kruth 11th, Grant Enfinger 12th, Haley Deegan 13th, Connor Daly 14th, Taylor Gray 15th, Ty Majeski 16th, Landon Lewis 17th, William Sawalich at 18th, Jake Garcia 19th, and Wallace Allen is 20th. Dean Thompson 21st, Matt Mills 22nd, Daniel Dye 23rd, Marco Andretti 24th, Ryan Vargas 25th, Timmy Hill 26th, Carson Hocevar 27th, Tanner Gray 28th, Connor Jones is 29th, last truck on the lead lap, Spencer Boyd 30th, Brett Holmes 31st, Austin Wayne Self 32nd, 33rd is Will Rogers, Jack Wood 34th, Dale Quarterly 35th is out of the race, and Colby Howard 36th out of the race. So that is your full field rundown here in the late going. Again, 11 laps to go in the race. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We'll take our final ad break of the race as you're listening live on KRC. Congrats, by the way, to my Detroit Tigers for throwing a combined no-hitter. I got an alert on there. I know Wade Selinsky in the chat mentioned something about it, that they were going into the 9th as well, so that's pretty cool. 9th in franchise history. It might be the first time they've ever had a combined no-no, though, that I can think of. I could be wrong on that. Matt Manning had to start today. It would have been cool to be at that game in person. I'll be going to tomorrow's game. I doubt that that's going to happen 2 days in a row. It'd be a cool historic feat to have been there.
It's the honeymoon capital of America.
It comes south.
Yeah, on my way home, I'm going to stop at Richmond.
Yeah.
That pickup truck's going to get a workout.
Pocono and their heart-shaped jacuzzis, right?
Yeah, we're inside of 10 laps to go here.
We are.
Well, I like the call from Lawson. Zane Smith, it's all up to him. We don't think that our truck is quite good enough to compete with the 11, but it's all about the driver, the skill.
Number 11 celebrated his 21st birthday this week, and how much cooler would it be to
Take a trophy home.
Yeah, or maybe even have a beer we talked about in Victory Lane. I can have a beer in Victory Lane.
Yeah, Corey Haim's been so strong this year. I mentioned that huge win at Martinsville when he beat Kyle Busch, and that that doesn't happen all that often. Last 6 races, all top 5 finishes.
And he's rejoining.
And averaging over 50 points.
What was that?
Crazy success for that team.
Yeah, Corey Haim, just looking at the stats, he's led about 362 laps this season. It's been a great year for Christian Eckes, 2-time winner, driving for Bill McAnally. New team for him this year. It's been a great.
Remember, crew chief said they thought they had the long run truck. Unfortunately, we haven't had that many long runs, but he's certainly in position.
Ben Rhodes went for that slide through the grass after contact with his teammate. Now he's in the top 10, so he's battled back. He's got something to say about who's going to win this race, I bet.
Been really impressed with Friesen too. The comeback from starting last after all the issues he had yesterday. Up here in contention, up in the top 5.
Curious to see if Raja Caruth, showing 11th right now, can solidify a top 10 today. He sure deserves it after all the effort he's put into this day.
Matt Craftsman gave up track position, last guy to come and put the dry tires on, and he finds himself back up here in the top 6.
All right, everybody.
Going to be down to just 9 laps to go in the restart. Hopefully this will be the final restart of the day as Corey Haim and Zane Smith again lead the field to the green. Haim's had great launches on the inside. Zane Smith spins the tires in the outside lane, and it might open up the door for Christian Eckes to get to the inside of second place. He's going to get there, freezing into the back of the 38 as well. Hard contact further back in the field after Raja Caruth went for a spin, got clobbered in the left front fender by another race truck. I couldn't tell who that was that pounded into the left front of Caruth's race truck. Brett Holmes is off into the sand. There's debris laying on the track as well from all the damage taking place. Front of the field, meanwhile, Corey Haim leads. Crafton side by side for third with Zane Smith. He'll duck back in line behind Zane. Door-to-door for 5th between Friesen and Ankrum. We will get a caution for either debris and there it is. So caution flag's out. Once again, our 10th yellow of the race. Not even a lap into the restart. Turn 1, and Brett Holmes is stuck. I couldn't tell which truck hit Raja Caruth after he had spun middle of the pack, but somebody absolutely clobbered him. And there is debris laying on the track from the incident as well. So they'll have to pick that up on top of digging Holmes out of the sand in turn 1.
There's the debris you speak of, Phil. Is that a brake cooler?
Looks like brake fan, yeah.
And it came from,
Might have come out of that truck right there.
this truck. As you can see, the front end's really banged up.
Let's take a look at the restart.
Kind of starts when they bunch up, Phil.
Yeah.
See up front, as they get into the corner, everybody gets together.
Yeah, 3 wide. Yeah, that was Haley Deegan made it 3 wide. She made contact with the truck in the middle, and then that truck made contact with Raja and turned him around. See the black truck
Taylor
poking
Gray,
out on
I
the right
think.
side of your screen.
Yep.
I believe it was maybe Taylor Gray that she might have made contact with and forced him in.
I think some big
Raja.
contact for Dean Thompson, too. I believe that's who hit Raja.
Meanwhile, it was 3 wide, almost 4 wide up front.
Begs a question.
Riding on board with Connor Daly.
Good gas and go. He's able to squeeze to the bottom. When somebody spins in the middle of the field like that, you just have to ask yourself, where was Daniel Dye? You have to think he was somewhere, and there's that damage
Dean
I saw
Thompson
from Dean
cranked,
Thompson's truck.
Cranked the 24.
There's
Thompson.
Daniel.
Gosh, what a day he had yesterday. I mean, we thought he had a shot at winning it right at the end. He had a wreck with a teammate.
Yeah, teammate took him out, waited for him, and took him out, unfortunately, on the last lap.
Now, you see, this sort of sums up this race to me.
A little bit of dirt, a broken lens.
The only thing we need is some water to wash it off with, and we would have everything covered. But again, as expected, Daniel Dye drove right through that mess, and he's made his way back up inside the top 20. It's been a tough day for the kid out of DeLand, Florida, but at least he's still rolling. Unfortunately for Dean Thompson, it's over.
Yeah, tough break.
Push that truck back into the garage. But Christian Eckes on that restart. He was all over Zane Smith. Got the spot, so he's shown in second place. Amanda, what is Connor Daly's crew chief thinking?
With the two-time Truck Series champion Mike Hillman Jr. on the call for Connor Daly here this weekend, and said that you were still struggling with some of that power steering issue. Just working with Connor through this issues. How is that relationship built?
Oh, it's going good. He's done a heck of a job all day, battling through the steering issues, and been to the back once, started in the back, so we've passed a lot of trucks, and we're trying to get back up here in the top 15 and see what the end gives us.
Connor told me ahead of this weekend that this truck ride was confirmed kind of after the 500. Is there further plans for Connor?
I'm not sure what's next for Connor, but he's doing a great job in our unit shipper Chevy, so hopefully we can go get him here at the end.
Thank you, Mike. Jamie?
Well, it is Corey Heim in that number 11 that everybody is chasing. He's led 22 laps today. Scott Zipadelli, you're the crew chief, told me this is a new road course package you guys have been working on since back in COTA. He wasn't a fan of it initially. What's different? Why is it working now?
I don't want to share that, but he's probably still not a big fan of it. It's a little bit loose in the high-speed stuff, but it turns better now in the short, slow stuff. So he's doing a great job. The crew's done an amazing job. It's been kind of a chaotic day with the rain in and out and all, but can't thank everybody enough at Tricon Garage and Safelight and TRD. Toyota Pro's really good, and hopefully we can finish this off.
All of the partners, the team members that you rattle off there, they make the sport go around, really. And you lost your driver for one of the races earlier this year. Despite that, still leading the regular season points. You made the decision to come over here to crew chief for him. Why?
I just needed a change. You know, I think you get somewhere, you stay there for maybe too long, you might get complacent, and I just felt like I needed to change, regenerate, you know, just kind of try something new challenge. And I didn't know I was going to be working with Corey when I came over here, but very pleased that they put us together, and hopefully we win some more races and try to win this championship for TRD and all of our sponsors.
It's a solid partnership that has plenty of good things to come, Jamie.
It was a great decision by Scott Zipadelli to say yes to that opportunity and then to get paired up with Corey Heim. These two, I think, they have a big future ahead. Well, we're hoping this is the last caution of the day. 7 laps to go. Can Corey Heim hang on? No, Michael? We're gonna have...
So setting up for a late race restart again. We have had a handful of cautions in this final stage alone. In fact, this is the 4th caution that we've had in this 27-lap third and final stage. And it is once again the 10th caution of the race entirely. Just in 60 laps we've had 10 cautions. That's an average of 1 caution every 6 laps. If you do the math there, that is that's not good. That's now granted the race started in the rain, so those early yellows is one thing, but now it's just turning into all take no give. Even if I use up the guy to my inside just to gain a spot, and a lot of these wrecks are taking place middle of the pack, back of the pack, which tends to happen a lot in these truck races when it turns into this too. A lot of the drivers at the very front of the field staying clean outside of the 99 and the 98 who got into each other earlier, running each other off the racetrack. Teammates nonetheless, and they were battling for second towards the end of stage 2. And Rhodes has made his way back up to 11th place. Looked like he lost a couple spots in that last restart. The Majeski up to 13th. Sandwiching Haley Deegan between them. So, got 3 4-sport trucks there. And then the other 4-sport truck of Matt Crafton is up in 4th place right now. Coming from the back of the field towards the front on a couple different occasions. First time because of strategy, but this time he has raced his way up there. He stayed out of trouble. Don't think he's really got anything for Zane Smith or Corey Heim. I think Smith is probably the only driver that has something for Heim as far as speed goes. There's a chance Eckes could get around Heim on the restart, and then it becomes an opportunity for Heim to try to race his way back around Eckes. But if Corey can get through the first couple of corners clear, it's going to be very, very difficult for anybody to beat him. Zane Smith spun his tires on the outside of the front row these last 3 restarts, and this time he actually lost a position because of it, so he'll be in 3rd. And that's going to be even tougher for him to try to stay with the 11 truck as a result. So he's really going to need Eckes to just try to stay on the door through the 11. Heim's been clear through turn 1 in the last 3 restarts since going double file. And they have not actually been side by side for the lead through turn 1 the last few restarts. So it'll be interesting if somebody can try to poke their way through there, have that be the case. Because if they can't even stay side by side to the first turn, I don't even know how they're going to have a chance really to beat the 11. The more cautions we get, though, it creates more and more opportunities for that to be the case with these restarts. And that is only lengthening the potential capability that Corey Heim could not win this race out more and more. William Sawalich back on pit road, repairing a bunch of damage to the right side of his race truck.
Place is one of the toughest tracks on the circuit in his debut. At 16 years of age, that shows you what kind of talent that young man has.
Running the ARCA Menard Series, but he's only 16, so he can't run all of the races on the national circuit.
2nd place yesterday.
Yep.
One of our 6 drivers that did double duty.
Smart driver, smooth driver.
He won at Berlin just a few weeks ago in the ARCA Menard Series. He's got 2 wins this year in the East Series.
Berlin,
that championship.
Berlin is one tough short track, too.
Berlin, Michigan. Yeah.
So they'll have 5 laps to go this time by. I don't know that the field has gotten the 1-to-go signal yet. Still having some cleanup down towards that turn 1 area following that last restart and the results of the last caution. They do get the 1-to-go signal this time. They will have the choose cone available, obviously, and we will see them try to line up and see where they will want to stay for the upcoming restart. Again, any restart could be the last when you get, especially this late in the race. And that is why you're seeing more and more aggression, and it's just not panning out. Looks like the field has gotten the 1-to-go signal this time, so they will be going green with 5 laps to go. So 5 laps will remain in this NASCAR Craftsman truck race in Mid-Ohio. 2 hours, 23 minutes since the drop of the green flag today, plus the hour rain delay at the start. They've gone past their scheduled airtime. I'm sure we will only end up getting a interview from your race winner today, but you guys will get to listen into that. We'll go through the full field finishing order following the finish of the race. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you haven't already. We're only 6 likes away from our goal of 100 on the stream, and we've got about 160 people watching as of right now. Pace truck is back onto pit road once again. Green flag will be in the air. Corey Heim on the inside of the front row trying to get the good launch he has been getting lately, but Christian Eckes on the outside going to try to stay with him. Zane Smith all over the back of the 11 truck, going to get into him, getting into the first turn. Bottlenecks to the inside lane up just a little bit. About 4 rows deep. Heim is clear off of turn 1 for the 4th consecutive restart. Has a 2 truck length or more gap going into turn 2 over 2nd and 3rd place. Zane Smith on the outside, 3 wide for about 4th. Nick Sanchez gets booted wide. He stays on the racetrack, though. Marco Andretti in the 7 truck is off, or rather, that's the 17 truck that went off the track into the grass on the inside of turn 2. So Taylor Gray going to lose a handful of positions. 3 wide still right around Matt Crafton, Stuart Friesen, and there's a truck on the outside. Can't tell who that is trying to get themselves in contention as well. That would be Tyler Ankrum in the 16. Zane Smith through turn 5 is going to be able to shut the door and clear. Christian Eckes still 2 and 3 wide back around Crafton as he's getting banged around by Matt DiBenedetto and Tyler Ankrum still. DiBenedetto on the edge of the cutoff line as well as Matt Crafton. That's an important battle for position going on between those 2 race trucks. Crafton's going to hang on to the spot for right now. Friesen going to pull away a little bit. Mostly single file through the top 10 until you get back to Enfinger and Sanchez, who are battling for the 9th place position, it looks like, on the racetrack. Ty Majeski right behind them has worked himself back into the top 10 as well. A lot of contact again between Sanchez and Enfinger. Chase Purdy on the inside of Haley Deegan just outside the top 10 as well as they run door-to-door. Deegan into the right side of Purdy's race truck in that final corner as they work their way back to the start-finish line. 4 laps to go. Corey Heim had a 1.1 second lead over Zane Smith at the start-finish line that last time by, and we will see if Smith's going to have anything for Corey Heim in these closing laps. A lot of changing for position still going on all around, really, the entire field. Sanchez again to the inside of Tyler Ankrum this time in the 16 truck, and he will pull clear. Enfinger and Majeski staying door-to-door down the long stretch through turn 3 and the kink down into 4. Majeski will have the advantage on the inside. Matt Crafton pulling out late, trying to block DiBenedetto, who gets sandwiched between both the 88 truck and the 99 of Ben Rhodes. Rhodes trying to put the bumper to move DiBenedetto out of the way now through the tighter corners on the racetrack, the slower portion of the track where maybe the bumpers would be one of the only ways to make the pass. Big thing right now is if the race leader gets to the white flag, then the next flag would end the race. We still have a few laps to get to even that point with where things are running right now. Zane Smith, does he have anything for Corey Heim? Needs to be perfect if he wants a shot at the race win. 3 laps to go for Heim in the 11 truck. Start-finish line that last time by about 2/10 quicker was Heim over Smith that last lap. It's going to be very difficult for Zane to run down the 11, who has been very, very good ever since the track conditions have gone dry once again. In the rain, Heim wasn't quite as good as some of the other ThorSport trucks that were around him early in the race. That's why Ben Rhodes won Stage 1. Ty Majeski won Stage 2. Speaking of the ThorSport trucks, Ty Majeski wedging himself underneath Tyler Ankrum through turn 2. Ankrum really crowded him, and off the exit of the corner, it looked like they banged doors once again. Matt DiBenedetto side by side for position with another ThorSport truck, Ben Rhodes. Rhodes on the inside. Sanchez trying to get that spot back after his spin. In the early going to the final stage, all these cautions have allowed him to get back inside the top 10, and he is looking to get by DiBenedetto for 7th place. Side by side between the 2 and the 25, they are on the cutoff line, as well as Crafton, all 3 of those trucks in the top 10. Tyler Ankrum below the cutoff line, but in a must-win situation, is 9th in this race. Ty Majeski right behind him in 10th. Pretty even for the most part that last lap between Corey Heim and Zane Smith as they cross the start-finish line for 2 laps to go. Only a couple hundredths of a second quicker was Heim over Smith, but Smith just does not seem to have anything. He's going to need a major mistake from Corey Heim or somebody else to bring out a caution as William Sawalich has gone off the race course. He is going to get back onto the racetrack. That was right around turn 11. Kept it in the gas, got out of the gravel pit, and he will be headed to pit road, so no caution will come out for the 1 truck of Sawalich. Will stay green. Smith trying to run down Heim through the keyhole in turn 2. Not really close enough to get a major draft effect off the back of Corey Heim in the 11. It just seems like there's too big of a gap there between those top 2 trucks. It just looked like Sawalich just went way too hot into turn 11 and went from the bottom of the track all the way to the top and out into the sand. We've seen a lot of trucks out in the sand today. And hopefully we don't see any more out there. There's no sand at Atlanta later tonight, so we won't have to worry about cars getting stuck in the infield of the racetrack there. No Ford truck going to go off the racetrack again. Stays in the gas, and we stay green as that truck recovers back onto the racetrack. That was Landon Lewis, who has brought out a couple of the cautions today. Not the first time he's gone off track. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank for Corey Heim. So this will be the final lap of the race. Zane Smith was 2/10 quicker than Heim the last lap, but still has a 1.1 second difference between the two trucks, and that is probably not going to be obtainable to catch him in 1 lap. Smith's going to push it extra hard here to try to get to him. Haley Deegan has now gone off the racetrack in turn 12. She spun right back in the right direction again. Bunch of black rubber marks on the right side door of her race truck. She was running right around 13th or 14th. Not the case anymore. After that spin, she scored 25th, losing over 10 positions. Zane Smith has closed a little bit on Corey Heim. Half a lap to go, maybe less than that now. Going to work their way through turn 7 and 8 into the S's. Zane Smith still about 6 or 7 car lengths behind Heim. No chance to really get to his bumper these final couple corners. Easy does it for Corey Heim to get his 2nd win of the year and his 2nd of his truck career. His 1st at Martinsville in a rain-shortened race. This race started in the rain, but it will finish under green. Corey Heim for Tricon Garage is going to get his 2nd win of the season. 5th truck driver to get 2 wins. He leads in points coming in. He extends his points lead, leaving Mid-Ohio as the race winner. Corey Heim has gotten his first career road course win in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series today. Zane Smith will finish 2nd. Christian Eck is 3rd. Stuart Friesen 4th. And Ben Rhodes recovers to finish 5th. Matt Crafton 6th. Ty Majeski 7th. Matt DiBenedetto 8th. Nick Sanchez 9th. And Tyler Rankin will round out the top 10. Grant Enfinger will finish in 11th. Carson Hocevar comes back to finish 12th. Chase Purdy 13th. Daniel Dye 14th. Taylor Gregg 15th. Jake Garcia finishes 16th. 17th was Lawless Allen. Connor Daly 18th. Marco Andretti 19th. And Tanner Gray will finish in 20th. Timmy Hill 21st. Matt Mills 22nd. Ryan Vargas 23rd. Landon Lewis 24th. Spencer Boyd 25th. Haley Deegan ends up 26th. 27th place was Connor Jones. William Sawalich 28th. Roger Caruth first truck a lap down at 29th. Looks like Daniel Dye got into Chase Purdy. A lot of beating and banging going on with those 3 trucks at the back of the field there. They're showing on the replay. So Austin Wayne Self ends up 30th behind Caruth, who ended up 29th. Jack Wood 31st. Brett Holmes 32nd. Dean Thompson 33rd. Finished 8 laps down. He was the first of those at DNF. Will Rogers also DNF, finishing 34th. Dale Curley 35th. And Colby Howard rounds out the 36 truck field, so 4 DNFs in total. 4 different drivers led at least 1 lap today. Corey Heim leads the most with 31 laps led from the pole, gets the win. Ben Rhodes ends up finishing with the 2nd most laps led. He won stage 1, led 19 laps. Ty Majeski led 17 laps, winning stage 2. Crafton led 1 lap under caution today as well. With those 4 different leaders, we had a total of 7 lead changes. 2 hours, 31 minutes, 44 seconds total time on today's race through the 67 laps, 151 miles. 59.040 miles per hour was the average race speed. Very slow with all the cautions and, of course, the slow start with the rain. A wild race at Mid-Ohio for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. And Corey Heim comes in as the points leader, wins the race, extends the points lead, and he's 2 races away from becoming the regular season champ on the Truck Series season. So he takes the checkered flag on the front stretch. Big time win. Be sure to hit that like button on your way out. We're 3 likes away from 100. So hit that like button on your way out. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content if you are headed out. And also tune back in later tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard start time for a NASCAR Xfinity Series race coverage of the Atlanta Xfinity race. Tomorrow's Cup race coverage will begin at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. Burnout on the main straightaway for Corey Heim. Again, you'll get to hear his post-race interview following his win And he's 2 races away from getting a regular season title. He's got Pocono in 2 weeks. Richmond a week after that. Definitely one of the favorites to make the championship 4 this season. With the consistency this 11 team has had week in and week out. I mean, I'd be shocked if the top 3 in today's race all end up in the championship 4 as season's end, and then probably throw either Majeski or Rhodes in there as the 4th, or Hocevar. I would probably say one of those 3 would probably be the other 4. We'll see how that turns out. We still got, probably like 4 or 5 months yet left in the season. Here is Corey Heim.
Well, Jamie Howe, it's always fun to get to talk to the winner straight out of the truck. You've got him.
Yes, and that helmet is now off as he crossed that checkered flag line. The word from Scott Zipadelli over the radio, Corey, it was, "You are the man." You said this one goes to all the guys in the shop. To put this truck together, unknown conditions for the win. What does that mean to you as a driver?
Yeah, I mean, just unbelievable. I mean, we came here with high expectations I felt like I did a good job last year just staying up front, but I put in the work to be able to go from a third-place truck to a winning truck, and the Safe Light Tundra TRD Pro was every bit of that today. So huge thank you to Tricon Garage, David Gillen, Shane Gray, and the Grain family. I appreciate everyone over there. Scott Zipadelli for everything they do. Toyota Racing, just unbelievable. I mean, this thing was good ever since we unloaded. I felt like we were the fastest truck in practice, qualified in the pole, of course, and then came here and won the race. So just unreal. Huge thanks to Zane and Christian. I knew they'd race me clean, but like usual, just a huge thanks to them again. But yeah, just unbelievable. Just awesome. Hats off to everybody.
Words of true sportsmanship. Congratulations. Amanda?
Zane, at the last 5 road course races, you have been the winner or the runner-up. You passed 26 cars today for this finish. How demanding was this one?
Yeah, brutal to finish second here again. Such a fun road course. In our typical sportsbook, Ford was pretty good, just lacked turn, especially on the right-handers all day long, and struggled in first gear again. So some things to improve on, but just felt like we need a little bit more, and I don't know how much our damage here was slowing us down, but those things happen. You have to start in the back. So frustrating to finish second again, but like you said, our road course program has been outstanding. So a good point stay for us, and happy to have our season back on track.
We'll see you at Pocono.
Thanks.
Jamie?
Well, Zane Smith, that's now 5 straight top 2 finishes on road courses. So
crazy streak going on for him right now. They're not really showing the regular season standings, but they are showing the playoff standings. Coming out of this race, Matt DiBenedetto +5, Nick Sanchez +2, Matt Crafton +1, Stuart Friesen, first driver below those 3 in points, -1 point. Tanner Graves -24, Chase Purdy -49, Tyler Anker -76, more than likely. Purdy and Anker in a must-win situation with just 2 races to go until the playoffs. Again, Pocono, Richmond for the Truck Series schedule to round out the regular season in the month of July. Thanks for everybody tuning in here today. Again, be sure to like and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. We're headed out. We got an Xfinity race later tonight at 8 p.m. Tune in for that one. Cup Series live stream starts tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. Have a good rest of the next, 2.5 hours, and I'll see you guys after that.